Hey, what's going on, YouTube? It is Nile, the brain of the mainframe, here with a wonderful episode of Horrible Tales. Mr. Tucci, JC Vaughn, how are you doing tonight?
Good, gentlemen. How about you?
Just fantastic.
I am doing great, and I just want to wish our pal JC Tex Vaughn a very, very happy birthday.
Yes, this guy right here. Happy birthday to you. Yeah, you hear it? Come on, guys, come on in. No, there's no one here. I live alone.
Happy birthday, old bean. Good to see you, my friend.
Thank you very much.
How's your birthday going? Did you do anything exciting? Did you get any
presents? We
We
worked with the guys that cleared up the water damage from the dishwasher in the kitchen, trying to break through into the basement. So that was really exciting.
It's like a water park on your birthday.
Yeah, no, that actually was Saturday, but the cleanup is in progress. So yeah, typical fun. A lot of work.
Oh, nice. Anything get damaged?
Just the ceiling and the floor.
Oh,
Thank goodness. No, I mean, if you're gonna have one of those things, that's the way to go.
Yeah, I usually say just let it run, and then let insurance pay to have your house renovated. It's just one of those things. That's the handy tip of the day.
Thank you,
Mr. Tucci. So we've got the second Hollywood horror stories episode tonight.
Yes.
So without further ado,
it's something that happens in comic. Without further ado, please we'll lead into that.
You got it. Tonight we have in Hollywood horror stories the power couple of comics.
Oh, yes.
Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor. Welcome.
Oh my God! What?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
what's up?
Story conference.
How are you?
see, they love each other so much. She thought he was choking. Oh,
I feel better now. Thank you. Hey, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
What'd you get for your birthday?
Some Milestone Comics.
All right.
nice.
Backstage, you had
right before the quarantine shutdown, whatever hit, I went to a store which is sort of like my third or fourth or fifth tier emergency backup comic shop, and they were having a sale, and I got a bunch of copies of hardware, some early issues with your work in it, Jimmy, and that reminded me of a lot of other stuff. And I've been a huge fan of Static. I thought it was like one of the coolest books on the stands when it started, and so I just started reading a bunch of this stuff and realizing I had a little more than I thought I did, and starting putting it all together and I'm going to collect this. And so while we haven't had new comics, each week from somewhere I've gotten a shipment of a couple of these books. So I've been reading stuff, some of it rereading, and some of it stuff I never read the first time. So it's been fun.
Yeah, those were fun times because they were definitely trying something new.
Yeah,
I'm not so sure about the coloring process because it looked a little washed out at times.
See, I really liked what Noel was trying to get at, and when they switched to the glossy paper, like it worked on John Pauleone's art, but it didn't work on some other people's art. And then when they switched to the nicer glossy paper, like the first issue of Zombie, I can't figure out what they're trying to do, and that was Dennis. And I don't know that Dennis knew what Dennis was doing in that one, or how it
worked on that,
or how it was. I think you did too, and how it was going to be colored. I don't remember, but overall, when the line shifted to that nicer paper, her color was really amazing, and I really liked it because it was different than other stuff. There's places where it didn't work, but yeah, overall.
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting company. I mean, I heard rumors they were coming back, so I'm hoping that's true.
Yeah, I just read an interview. I just read an interview with Dennis from a month ago or so on from the Sci-Fi Channel, talking about how they are still working on stuff behind the scenes, but they are definitely coming back. He says, but I don't know. It doesn't say when.
Did he talk all about me? How great I am?
He did. Like he mentioned you specifically by name and address. Strangely enough,
2 paragraphs.
Okay. He's in Brooklyn, so it's okay. It's all right. He could put the address there. No, it was a fun time. I think around those years, I was working. I had a book at every company. I was inking a book at even Billy's company.
Yeah.
Is that where you developed your not having all your eggs in one basket philosophy, or did you have that before?
No, I come from advertising, right? So you don't give everything to one client. You work all your clients. So when I got into comics, I saw how they would toss some people away. Like all of a sudden, a person working there 10 years, and then all of a sudden they don't work there. And I figured, well, if I'm working for everybody, there's less a chance of them doing that. Also, most of the work I got were people asking for me. So it wasn't like I went to the company and said, hey, do you have any work? It was mostly somebody would call and say, hey, I'm doing this book for this company. Would you ink me on it? And then I'd say, yeah, have them call me and I'll give them my rate and they'll try to talk me down for 3 hours. And then we'd go from there. And so that's how I work. I work for everything and friends like Billy. And, I did stuff for Brian Polito's company. And, I worked everywhere. I was I had a bad cocaine habit, and no, I didn't. Actually,
that was your advertising days.
That was my advertising days. Yeah,
great idea.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of, before we get to now that we're on the subject of the Milestone
cocaine,
there's a rumor about you with Milestone. With
Milestone.
I was thinking Wildstorm with
Wildstorm.
With Milestone, something about with a magazine.
Yes, Milestone had a card set they put out, which back then every company put out a card set. Nobody knows really what you do with these cards except you put them in a plastic box and then you put them on a shelf. I don't know what cards are like an odd thing for me. I like them, but I don't understand them 100%. Anyway,
they're easy. They're little. They're easy to collect.
They're easy. Yeah, I guess they're easy.
Yeah.
Some people collect business cards, I hear. Hi, Mike.
Oh, there's your buddy Mike. Hey, Mike.
What's he doing? Oh, you got a Bayou Billy page. Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah. He hopes to get one. You gotta get one.
Absolutely.
Mike, it'll happen. It's going to happen. Anyway, they did a card set, and Ebony Magazine was running a Milestone promotion, and they bagged the magazine, and they put a card in it from the trading set. Well, guess what they got? They got the Jimmy Palmiotti card in the Ebony Magazine thing. So, and I used to have a copy of it with the card in it. I don't know where it is, but as proof,
weren't you one of, if not the only Caucasian working?
I was there was one other person, and
was it the attorney?
It was. That's a good one. I don't know. No, there was another person, but it was. I always said that. Well, I'm not white. I'm Italian, so
Thank you. They had a lot. I mean, if you look at their. Obviously, their lead guys, Dwayne and Dennis. That's that's top tier. But a lot of the guys who started there are now top tier. And I never heard of. I don't think I ever heard of John Paulione before.
Joe Illidge. Joe Illidge was.
And there. Joe. Oh my, yeah, really great point. And there's other guys.
I met Joe in a art supply store in Brooklyn.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. Huh. He wanted to get into comics, and I figured he can steal some art supplies from me. So it worked out pretty good.
Did he work?
He didn't steal any art supplies. He had the energy. When you meet people that have energy, they really want to make comics. And Joe was like that guy. Joe was destined for greatness. It was just a matter of time and opportunity. And I'm really happy he's doing so well. He's a great guy. You should have him on your show. He's the man.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We love Joe.
Yeah, let's get Joe on.
Yeah, man.
Call him in. I'll send a link. Let's do this.
Joe knows stories. Joe knows where the bodies are buried.
Oh, yeah.
In a number of different places.
Yes, exactly.
So let me ask you guys, have you seen, I'm trying to change the subject because I watched it last night and I think it's awesome. Stargirl?
No.
Have you watched it?
I haven't seen it.
I have to say, did you see it, JC?
I did. And I've got to say, out of all the comic book / TV stuff that Jeff Johns has been involved in, this more than anything else captures him at his best. Of course, that miniseries that was where the character came from was always one of his favorites, or at least as he told it, at least as he said it. And wasn't necessarily one of the biggest sellers, but that doesn't really matter whether it's your favorite or not. And he really, watching that show, even though there were differences, there was stuff where I was just like, I knew it was coming, and it was great, and it was well executed. It seems like it was tremendously cast. Obviously, getting Luke Wilson means they're taking it seriously.
Yeah,
and
he needs work really bad.
Or he needs work really bad. And then we're back to the what kind of habit does he have that he needs work real bad?
Right.
But in all seriousness, it was. There's still plenty of the room for them to F it up later, but it was a joy.
Mm-hmm. And even the quality, though, like the CGI, the effects, the graphics. I mean, the quality was just. I think it was better than anything I've seen thus far. And I know that they're doing. I don't know if they premiered it on CW yet. Maybe they did,
last
but
night.
it's like on both platforms.
Right.
So you're going to watch it on CW and you can watch it on DC Universe.
Yeah,
but I mean, it really is good. Like the quality of it.
Oh, TJ just hit with a point.
Yeah, I saw that.
I forgot that.
I remember that from a while back. Yeah.
Oh, here it is. Yeah.
I didn't see it. I can't. I can't like spin more than 2 like series at once. Like I can't.
Manny can't watch TV.
I can watch. Oh, I can watch the shit out of TV.
But only one thing.
But no, the
order.
2 things. Yeah, I can't like do like Jimmy is watching. Like Jimmy and I are finishing up 30 Rock. We are in the middle of Future Man, which is great.
That's awesome.
And Jimmy can actually handle more, like, keeping track of.
I'm watching Justified.
Yeah,
so I'm on the last season of Justified.
Than I can, so I can only handle it time.
But
yeah, I'm like you, Amanda. I'm the same thing. Like if I have one show, I just have to watch the one show.
Yeah.
Billy, the microwave is not a show.
What? It's a great story. The food spins around and it comes out in the end. It's great.
It's
like last week, was it the batteries?
Batteries in the microwave, yes.
I got to tell you, I don't really watch the superhero TV shows. I like my superheroes in comics. I'm not a big superhero
we just haven't found the right one yet.
Yeah, Futurama I like.
Let me say this.
Yeah.
I would be surprised, particularly Amanda, but I would be surprised if both you guys didn't find something to like about this show.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, I enjoy the.
If it's short, I'm gonna really like it. If it's only 20 minutes, I'm gonna love it. If it's an hour, I won't like it.
No?
Well, they're not really an hour.
You should sort of DVR it then.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't watched those shows. Every time I catch a random episode, there's this really weird corniness to me that when I watch it, like the people in costumes on TV, I just can't get into it.
It's teen angst disguised as a superhero show more often than not.
Yeah. I mean, it's for Billy. The guys like Billy. It's not
it is.
I already finished Riverdale, so
Yeah, see,
that annoys me. Those shows, I don't know, they look cheap, and
I tried to jump into Riverdale like mid like season, and like I don't know what season it was. I was so lost. I was like, I do not know what is going on here.
Yeah,
we started watching Sabrina. And that was pretty good.
We watched a couple of Sabrinas, but I like dramas and stuff. The superhero stuff doesn't translate for me.
Even in about Grey's Anatomy.
Even you like that? I don't know. In movies, it doesn't always translate for me. The superhero stuff. There's sometimes I look at it and I'm like, oh my god, that's so corny. I just don't know what to think.
All right. As a lead into talking about Hollywood,
yes,
hero movie that did work for you.
Sin City.
Mm-hmm.
Sin City. What else I like? The last Spider-Man was fun. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
What about stuff that's not superhero but is comic books? You mentioned Sin City. What about like History of Violence? Or
loved History of Violence. It was
Road to Perdition. Yeah,
Road to Perdition was great. Again, a little different than the actual material it came from.
Here,
good. Birds of Prey I enjoyed because we had so much in there. It was kind of fun just to say, oh look, that was taken from there.
And the Beaver was in it. So.
The Beaver, anything with Beaver, I'll watch. Let's see. What else?
What about Jimmy? What about Justice League? And have you heard about they're going to release the Snyder Cut?
I didn't like Justice League, and I don't care how much they add to it. It like Flash looked weird, and Cyborg looked odd, and I like. There's like an awkwardness to it. I did like that Superman movie, The Man of Steel. Is that it? The Man
of Steel. Yeah.
I liked Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I liked Wonder Woman. The last 20 minutes, I liked Wonder Woman.
Lightning.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of Captain Marvel. I thought Captain Marvel was really disappointing. I just thought
I wanted to like Captain Marvel more, but you didn't get to see her struggle like it would like flash back to her struggle, which wasn't the same as seeing her like struggle and then overcome. She was just all powerful from the get-go.
It was very much like, oh yeah, we're they talk about it and we're just supposed to take it from that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
I fell asleep during that movie. That's literally the first movie.
Well, see, I would have felt so much better if I did that.
Yeah. I just didn't feel like it had a lot of like tenseness or like like there wasn't enough of
there wasn't like a build up. I thought it kind of just jumped right into it, and I'm like, well, who are you?
I liked Interstellar. Yeah, I liked Interstellar a lot.
Are they making a sequel to Captain Marvel?
Yeah, it's another one.
Probably. I mean, it did well, right?
Yeah, they'll keep making them. They'll keep. Even I like the Avengers, but I was also happy when it was over. I was kind of like that's as long as I can stay in the theater for this.
Well, I mean, like that whole like was it like 12 or 18 year like Marvel like like one after the other sort of thing. I liked most of them. Oh yeah, I want to see that too. Wonder Woman 1984.
That's a great year. That's a great year.
But I
class of 84.
I didn't like.
Born in 84. Great year.
You were born in 84?
Yeah.
He lies. He's not.
35, bro. Born in 84.
Yeah.
Like I gotta say, I do like my comic books in my comic book heroes in comic books. I just feel like they're made for that. And when they do movies with superheroes, if it's in a costume, it looks weird and corny to me on some level, and I can't get over that. I don't know why. And then when they, but they make a ton of superhero movies with people not being superheroes. They do make that person that has. Look, Carrie, the movie Carrie, the original one was sort of like a superhero movie. Somebody with powers, except everything goes wrong. Like I do like that. I do like that kind of stuff, but. I gotta say, it's always an odd thing when it works for me. It's never 100%. I'm never 100% in. The Spider-Man movies have charm to them. They're like really charming. Mm-hmm. And so those, I even like the first, couple of films of those films.
No, really, right?
Yeah, Sam Raimi ones. Yeah. But I mean, even like the original Superman, I liked the first one and I liked the second, but after that, I was like, I'm out, and
Yeah, one of the things, unfortunately, when you lose somebody under tragic circumstances like Chris Reeves' injury and then incapacitation and then his premature death, we get to where there's the deification of all their work, and Superman 3 and 4 were horrible.
He like I said, I'm sure he regretted making them on some level. They were just you can tell when people leave the room and they're done and they just making the movie to make money. Those movies smelled of like we have to make money now, and that's you got to be careful with superhero movies because they kind of come off as or how about this? I'll give the flip side. People give them so much importance they're not important. They're just entertainment. People the next superhero, this is going to change everything. I'm like, no, it changes nothing. It's fantasy. It's it's like a fantasy movie. I like Taken. I like movies, different kinds of movies. I work on superheroes all day long. I really, it's okay to take a break from them and see some. I prefer watching a Western. I prefer watching a movie set in history.
Sure.
Like I love movies about history.
You love
all
Western.
Right. So
that's like
you're on to talking about what kind of movies you like.
Yeah.
So Nile, Billy, did we have specific questions about their Hollywood horror stories, or do we just launch it?
Yes. No, we have some, but two things. One, we have a question. Tell us about Svengoolie.
Svengoolie.
He's so cool.
He's a sweetheart.
Yeah, we love him.
We met him at a dinner in New York.
Yeah,
we had dinner with Svengoolie and his buddy.
Comic Con.
Yeah, and then Dan DiDio introduced us to Svengoolie, and we realized we had a ton in common. You know, great guy, just a fun dude. And then he called us and said, you know, I'm going to be in Chicago. Can I interview you guys? And we're like, yeah, why not? Svengoolie's going to come by. But I never saw him with all the makeup until that day, that interview. And I was like, whoa, you know. And
I mean, we'd seen him on TV with all the makeup.
Right, yeah, on TV, but in real life, not in person.
Yeah.
And he interviewed us, and we thought that was the end of it until last week, where he texted me and just said, hey, you're going to be on the movie this week. And, you know, his show gets over 1 million viewers. Like, his show is, like, insane. The ratings on those movies that he hosts are pretty big ratings, which I didn't know. Yes, you have to watch out for rubber chickens with him. But just a really cool guy, and it was fun to do. And we'll always be open for some more Svengoolie.
Nice. Now tell us about Sven Larson. No.
Sven Larson. Well, let me tell you, he's working at Marvel still.
Yeah, that's our buddies at Marvel.
Yeah.
I just want to go back real quick. Mike Fiala had also brought it up. A movie I felt worked as a superhero movie, which I thought was terrifying, was Brightburn. Did you see Brightburn?
I didn't see it yet.
I didn't see that.
It's like if Superman was evil, basically.
Yeah, as a kid.
Or as a kid, yeah.
Oh, you see, I would watch that. It's on our list of things to watch. You know,
we're so backed up.
We don't get out. Amanda's backed up.
We have movie constipation. We're really backed up.
We're back.
Actually, not after those burgers you had. It goes right there.
You know what he calls them?
Nature's broom. Nature's broom, yeah. You eat a White Castle, and it just kind of sweeps everything out of you. It's like, okay, coming through.
Buddy of mine's like, oh, you picked up a suitcase of bull huggers? I'm like,
other people are worried about fiber. And Jimmy's just like, yeah, send some White Castle.
Yeah.
You know,
they're so good though.
They are so delicious.
We have to live in our own way in these times. What is it?
These are uncertain times.
At Jimmy and Amanda's,
right?
We understand that you need to eat comfort food.
Right. So every commercial is at blah blah blah.
My dad used to be in advertising, and he and his buddies called them at-we commercials. Like when something like really, really big and tragic happens, all of the clients start wanting at-we commercials because it's like at so-and-so.
At AT&T, we understand.
Yeah.
You know, and every
we know
commercial
what it feels like too. Yeah, at-we.
In these trying times, or what's the other one? We're all in this together. which is bullshit because I went to Home Depot and like half of the people had no masks on. So we're not all in it together. I'm in it.
I really like the picture of the celebrities' yachts spelling out "We're all in this together."
I know.
Yes.
The other thing is that, and they've been doing this for like years now, is commercials will say, "In these uncertain times," and I'm like, when has there ever been certain times?
Yeah, exactly.
There's no such thing as certain.
There is a certain time of day.
Yeah.
And that's about the only certain time there is.
Yeah. I'm gaining weight in this house because like it's all you do is work and eat. It's like I'm doing something. I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
You know what?
I'm
gonna go
cooking, and I'm not cooking anything healthy.
No,
I rediscovered beef stroganoff,
and I rediscovered
Pop
Tarts too.
I love beef stroganoff.
It's so good, but it's so not good. But it's so good, so yummy.
It says I have pictures of Billy Stroganoff. It's like kind of. Oh wait, that's a whole different thing.
Oh wait a minute.
Is that sour cream based?
Oh, yeah, it's a lot of sour cream.
Ooga. All right.
Take it home.
Approaching 25 minutes into the show, and we need a Hollywood horror story.
Yes. Well, if I may, just real quick. Speaking of a horror story, which it is Amanda, you were saying like you like to watch one show at a time, or you know, what I mean?
I can handle two. That's it.
Yeah. I like to watch one or whatever, but I go back to my old favorites. And last night we had a show on, and I couldn't do it because I was working on a cover. And so he's like, "Well, what were you watching?" I was like, "Once Upon a Time in Hollywood." I've seen the movie like 25 times. I just love it. It's so good. I can listen to just his dialogue, just the script. In my opinion, I just love that
movie.
You know, my favorite scene is Leonardo DiCaprio holding a full, what is that, blend is worth of margaritas, and a pitcher of margarita, and he's drinking it, and he goes, "Listen, you filthy hippies, blah blah," and then he stops mid sentence and goes, takes another, and then starts yelling again.
He was really good in that movie. They were all so good in that movie.
Yeah.
They were really good.
That's a classic movie.
Yeah, terrific. Exactly.
Shut up, TJ.
What
He's like, hey, remember the censors at YouTube?
All right, so Jimmy and Amanda, you guys have had lots of success. I mean, you were one of the few comic creators who had two of your books that you brought from obscurity and made them into A-list properties, and then they actually became films. The first was Jonah Hex, and now the second with Birds of Prey. We'll just call it Harley Quinn, Suicide Squad. And those are fun success stories. Have you had, and now I know, Jimmy, you have a lot of properties, you have a lot of irons in the fire, you're a screenwriter as well. Tell us some stories that it didn't quite work out so well when you went in. Like
I mean, he handles the Hollywood stuff. You know, it's like I do a
With oven mitts.
yeah.
Does he ever come home or get off the phone and his eyes are just like,
Oh,
my God.
Yeah. There's times where he's just like, Gah.
I'll give a quick story. I did a book years ago for Black Bull Comics, which was Wizards brand, another company for JC Vaughn to cover at some point, and it was called The New West, and it was Phil Noto drew the book, and
It's beautiful.
beautiful book.
Yeah.
And we had I'm not going to name the studio, but we had a couple of guys, producers and everything. They invited me out to LA to listen to this young screenwriter pitch the book because they wanted to make a film out of it. So they were going to have him write the screenplay based on the book I wrote. Okay. So I fly out to LA. I get to this meeting. Everybody's there, very excited. And I sit there. And before I get into the meeting, Gareb Shamus calls me and he says, look, this is your property. So if you like the pitch, give it the okay. If you don't like it, you can kill the product. You do whatever you want. This is yours. He goes, I don't care what you do. You have to be happy with it. I'm like, great. That's all I needed to know. And I went into the meeting and this guy started pitching what he would see based on the book I wrote, what he sees as the film. And never in my life did I want to interrupt somebody so much, but I just, I'm Italian, right? So I sit on my hands so I don't speak.
Yeah.
And, so I sat on my hands. Yeah, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And right away, the first thing out of his mouth is he changed the name of the main character. The first thing. Okay. The second thing is, he tells me, he goes, okay, so I love your book. Oh my God, your book is fantastic. Anyway, here's what happens. And he proceeds to tell me a whole story that has nothing to do with my book. And he's talking about, in one point he buries these 2 red guns in the hills. It made no sense. I'm sitting there for like 25 minutes being as polite as I can be. And then he finishes and he goes, and then that's the end. And we see it. And I just go, the first thing I say is, out of respect, thank you. Why did you change the name of the main character? And he's like, well, I wanted something that sounded a little this and that. And I'm like, okay, but that I named that character for a reason. It's the name of the character in the book. I said, second, what does this have to do with my book? And the other guys are sitting there like, like what? And then he's like, well, it's the, your thing with the pulse weapon. And I said, yeah, but this is nothing like, I'm like, I said, it's to the point. And I just said, it's insulting that I had to even sit through this. And I turned to the 2 producers and I said, this is on you guys for thinking this was okay for me to sit through. And I got up and I left.
Whoa.
And wow. That's freaking great. Wow.
It was insulting. And I had my car in the parking lot at the building in the studio, and one of the producers comes running out to me to the car, and he goes, Jimmy, and I'm like, look, and I said, it's really insulting. I said, you read my book. This had nothing to do with the book. This is like some story this guy wrote, and you threw my title on it. Yeah. And I said, you have officially lost this property. You will not be making this film. It's not going to happen. Well, how can we patch this up? And I said, you can't. I said, I had to fly all the way from New York to California to listen to this. And I said, do you understand how upset I am? He goes, no, I know you're upset. I'm like, I said, where did the red guns come from? What? All of a sudden, this guy has a wife and kids. The guy's a single guy in the book. Like, it's just outrageous. And I left. And I think he called Garib and, was like, oh, it didn't go well. And I called Garib. And
he wasn't single. He was like divorced with a kid in the book.
No, he had no kid. I know the book. I wrote it.
Right.
Okay. You're talking about the mayor's daughter that's in the book?
Do you, Jimmy?
Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah, well, okay. Anyway, see? Give Amanda a Hollywood office.
So I remember when that book came out.
Well, anyway,
and it was made to be a movie.
Yes.
I think that if I took payola, I'd still be spending your money from how good my review was.
Thank you very much. And I don't own it. Garib owns it. I own a piece of it. Anyway, it wasn't until like 10 years later, the producer, we were talking, I saw him again, and I like the guy. He just made a mistake there, but I like him. And he said, in retrospect, we really screwed up on that one. And I'm like, yeah, you did. Yeah. So that was a waste of my time, and I've had it, we at one point we had Monolith. The Monolith sold to Lionsgate. And again, the first story comes, the screenplay comes in. It took the basic premise, but all of a sudden moved it to middle America, like in a small town with a high school. Now, if you remember the book, it's about New York history in the 30s and modern day. And thank God, at least they listened to me there, and they had another screenplay written that was a little closer. And then we had the screenplay, they had the actress picked out, they had the director and everything, and then Lionsgate changed hands, and the new person came in, killed a bunch of projects. Right, so that was sure. But again, look, I can even go back to Painkiller Jane. It was done twice as a TV movie, 2-hour TV movie that threw my concept out the window, but kept some bones of it. And then a 22 one-hour episode show that kept some of the bones of it and threw out everything else. And, so that's Hollywood. They love your concept so much that they want to change it the minute they get it.
Right.
So it's very frustrating. I do have like 1,000 of those type stories of people just, they love it. And then they're like, okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to change it. I mean, even on Painkiller Jane, I wrote one of the episodes and they approved it. The 13th episode is called The League, and that's written by me. And by the time I got in my plane and flew from New York to Toronto to go be on the set, they changed the screenplay.
Oh.
So, and when I landed, it was a different color, which is the first thing you learn. It's like all of a sudden there's a pink one. I'm like, what's this? And they're like, well, we changed some stuff. So I went back and I changed it again and gave them a blue script that night. So it went back to my script. And boy, talk about 2 weeks of me, butting heads with people. I can't even tell you, like, just, the thing would be on the script and the director would go, well, I don't really see it like that. And I'm just like, okay, but it's my script. And they're like, yeah, but we're going to do something else.
Now, on the one hand, you've got, Jane's a great example. On the one hand, you have a property with a pretty well-established history. It's been done over a number of years, maybe slight twist on iteration, but this is the same character from the beginning.
Yes.
And so you've got that. You've done it successfully, and you've seen it done unsuccessfully in other media to different extents. Do you still look at it and go, I know this could be a good show or a good movie?
Oh, I do. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's tough when you see something clearly, and everyone around you sees something else. And I mean, that's politics, right? That's politics in a nutshell. You know, with I don't blame the people in Painkiller Jane. You know, Cristana was doing a good job. All of them were doing a good job. It's just that Sci-Fi had a different vision. The Sci-Fi Network had a different vision, and you know, what happens there is they're saying, well, what's going to sell? They're always like, what's going to sell? And then they lose track of what things are, you know, and the writers are also getting notes from 3 different people. And again, you know, the beauty of comics is I write it, and even with a Kickstarter, it comes out the way I see it, and that's the way it is. It's fantastic. I don't have 3,000 people telling me what it should be, even though I created it. People telling me, and I've sat in meetings where people tell me, well, Jimmy, here's what Painkiller Jane really is about. And, you know, there's nothing more like brain damaging than hearing something you created, having somebody lecture you about what the character's about. And I've had it happen, you know. I just noticed the question there from Mike asking about what's like working with Ed Boon on Mortal Kombat. I just want to say, like, that's a video game. I worked on Mortal Kombat versus DCU. Ed was a pleasure. Ed was, like Ed. I like that a lot, and I still like Ed. And he was a guy that had a vision for his characters and stuck with it, the Mortal Kombat characters. And so once in a while you have a guy like that, and that's like a relief because he gets the comics and he gets the game. And, but anyway.
If I can ask a question, I'll tell you my little story about Mortal Kombat, and it's going to lead into a story.
Okay.
But I met with the producer of the Mortal Kombat film. It was one of my first forays into Hollywood. They flew me out. It was at the San Diego Comic-Con 1995, and I drove up to LA with my buddy Keith, and so I met with him in the studio. He had all the big foam statues from the movie and everything like that. And he basically, I was telling him the story, and at the end of for those of you who don't know, Anna spends her whole life, and she is raised her whole life to kill this man. And she finally meets him in combat, and she loses to him. The story, though, is a turn for the villain because he sees how he's ruined this young woman's life. And he ends up giving her a second chance at life and taking responsibility for all her crimes. He lets her live, and then he confesses to all of her crimes that she accrued while going to get to the top to him. And I thought that was beautiful. I thought it was a really interesting take on a villain, and to give this woman a second chance instead of her just killing the villain and walking off. And the producer of the Mortal Kombat film, and I'm sure if someone says his name, I would remember it, but he was just like, wait a minute. She doesn't kill Arashi at the end? I'm like, no, because the book wasn't done yet. The series wasn't done yet. And I'm like, no. And I said, don't you understand? He gives her a second chance at life. She's free of this. He's like, wait. So the villain wins at the end? I'm like, well, in a way, but she kind of wins, and he ends up going to jail. He's like, well, this is unacceptable. He said to me. I said, well, I think you and I have the wrong, I think you and I have a totally different vision of what she is. And I said, thank you. And I got up and I walked out. So that, and then I've been known to kind of tell people, I told the franchise producers and the owners that all their movies suck, and things like that. And well,
when you win them over.
Yeah. Well, do you ever fear, did you have that fear, or have you ever experienced being worried about being known in town as being difficult to work with?
Well, you have to stay very present when dealing with people, and understand that words are very powerful. So if all of you suck is not a great thing to say.
Movie suck.
Right. Well, your movie suck. You could say the movie wasn't for me.
Yeah.
But I will say it that the one with that meeting I was talking about that went south, I was very polite, but I was extremely blunt, because I just felt like they wasted my time. And look, I would love to yell at a bunch of people that I dealt with, but you realize that they don't understand that out there. Like they don't, or how about this? They don't necessarily understand what passion is. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because they think, because of the jobs they're doing, they think that they know better about everything you do. Because And I get this all the time. Well, look, that's comic books, so you know how to do comics, but in film, it's different. I get that all the time. Or in TV, it's different, you know. And I always go to them. I'm like, you know, a good story is a good story. TV, film, telling it in a bar. Stories have bones, you know. You follow these bones and they make sense. And Amanda's been around for me being dismissed, you know. And I had a director, you know, just go nuts on me once in the nicest way he could. And I argued right back with him. I gave it right back to him. And I don't think he was used to it. I don't think, I think he just thought, well, I'm the director, I'm all powerful. And I just said, I'm like, you know, that's not right, you know, which they don't want to hear. You know, at some point, yeah, we're just going to have to shoot our own films, and people know or don't know, Billy shot his own movie and it was fantastic. And it's too bad he didn't do 40 more. But you know, it's why it's so important to find people with that or understand what you're doing. But also at the same time, I can step away if they're going to make something a little different. I can definitely step back and go, hey man, do your thing. It's great. But when they have to start changing the names and start changing the places, I'm going to put up a little argument, because sometimes an urban setting has everything to do with who the character is.
Yeah.
And you can't take a city girl, like a Painkiller Jane, you can't put it in, I don't know, in Oneonta, New York. You know, it just doesn't work the same. And a lot of times they do that for budget, or they do it for whatever. I know, you know, New York is Toronto's New York in most movies anyway. So, you know, but
you know, they would. I'm sorry if I can real quick.
no.
That's the same thing with me. The last Hollywood meeting I had, and this was with our producer, and I get the treatment that they'd written, and it says Anna Lane, 24. And I'm like, who's Anna Lane? Same thing. Oh, that's her name. I wish I said, well, why'd you change your name? You know, I'm like,
Yeah, what's your point?
Yeah, they changed her name from Anna Ishikawa to Anna Lane, and their excuse was the film is a little too Asian. The comics are a little too Asian. It was like 6 years ago.
You know, what with the ninja. But
you know, Painkiller Bob is the, you know.
Yeah, it's like, Anna Lane. I don't understand this.
so
I had a book where they said, can you change it into a woman instead of a man? And I looked at him and I said, I could, but I'm not going to.
Right.
nice.
Now, let me ask you, Jimmy. Now, since you've had stuff go on, you know, in Hollywood, you had stuff produced. Do you ever think like, you know what, I would really love to see it, you know, say like Painkiller Jane, do it again, but do it the way you visioned it?
So there's a screenplay now. So a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, Jessica Chastain got in touch with us and wanted to develop the Painkiller Jane property as a feature film. And I did an outline for the screenplay, and then they hired a screenwriter, a female screenwriter, to do to write it. And she did a great job, and they asked me to come in and add to it. So everybody was happy, but by that time, Jessica moved on to 85 other projects, which the Hollywood stars do. They kind of line up 15 gigs, and then whatever's ready to go, they take. So we have a screenplay right now I'm extremely happy with, and they're going around, not this moment because things are all shut down a little bit, but they're going around and shopping it for a new lead. And if that gets made, that's going to be Jimmy being 98% happy with
that'd be awesome,
because it is literally the comic book. You know, the outline I gave them was like the first couple of issues slammed together, and everybody loved it. So I'm hoping it gets made. Be honest with you, you know, it's like, you know, Billy, you understand this. It's like the chances of them making things is so weird.
Yeah.
It's like everybody wants to make it real quick. Yeah, Ruby Rose would be great as Painkiller Jane, by the way. TJ.
Yeah, she would be. Yeah.
I think, she would.
We actually talked about that.
We did talk about that.
When she was on
maybe they should approach her because
Orange is the New Black.
Batwoman, she quit.
Really?
Yeah,
she quit Batwoman. Yeah.
Said it was too much work. And
is that the reason? I was reading the articles. It didn't really say why she left.
Well, I mean, she's a film person, and then TV shows are grueling, you know?
Yeah.
I don't really know, but she would make a great
comment.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, let's see, Kevin.
That's Scad.
He's very blunt.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin, you remember who else was reviewing at the time? I think it was Will Eisner was there and Scott Hampton, right? And
wow, Will Eisner. Wow.
You know, and Kevin's to his point, I was blunt and mostly negative, but I was always nice to him. I wasn't mean to him. I just figured I don't want to waste people's time by telling them things to make them feel better. I just felt like here's what you need to work on. Get to work, you know. So I hope, Kevin, you realize that. He'll chime in.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm seeing the guys are talking about Ruby Rose got injured.
Yeah, that's one of the things.
Right, or something.
There's some speculation that because she had cut down tremendously on doing her own stunts, that was one of the things.
Hey, there's my buddy.
Hey.
What's up, everybody? How's it going?
It's
Alan
Palmiotti. What's up?
What's up, fanboy Blevin?
I don't know how
How's it
he gets. Did you give him the password, Billy?
I did not.
This gets weirder and weirder every time.
It's because you didn't change it from last time.
Oh.
Yeah, it's because you didn't change it from last time. I wanted to come on and tell this horror story that I have.
Okay, go.
That I think would be incredible for you guys. So, I got up and I woke up and I was like in this strange home, and it was really weird because it was really bright. And I walk in there and there's somebody like in the kitchen, and like it's like my high school girlfriend. And she's like, "Hey baby." And I was like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "Oh, be quiet. You know, are you going to be working today?" And I'm like, "What is going on? I don't know what's happening." And I go downstairs to go get on the computer, and like I get online and I'm looking, trying to figure out what's going on. And like I look and it's like Pop XP #1 podcast around, you know, Billy Tucci, you know, editor of all comics. And I mean, like, it was crazy. And I called my dad, and like my mom answered the phone, and they're like back together. And I'm like, what is this world I'm living in? So I finally, you know, and then there's a knock at the door, and this guy comes and he's like, "Hey, Brian." And I was like, "Hey, who are you?" And he goes, "I'm the one that made all this possible." And I'm like, "Made what possible?" And he goes, "I've given you everything that you've wanted, like everything you wanted to have." And I was like, "Oh my God." And I started tearing up, and I was just like, "What did I do to deserve this or whatever?" And I was like, "I can't wait to tell my best friend Jimmy." And he's like, "Who?" Come to find out, it was a world without Jimmy Palmiotti. And then I woke up and I was like,
"Oh."
Sweat.
Amanda has the same dream.
Jimmy Palmiotti buddy pillow.
Man. Yeah.
There was all plenty.
Yeah.
So Blevins, we're talking about Hollywood horror stories about pitches gone wrong.
Right.
And did you ever get a chance to pitch any of your stories to any Hollywood big shots?
Yeah, I did. I didn't get to pitch it how I originally pitched it because I was so, you know, when I first originally pitched it, I was like, man, I'm so excited about this idea because I think it's going to be great, you know, coming from a nerd, you know, background, and just thinking how crazy this would be. But some of my really good friends that, you know, I've grown to adore and care for and everything just crushed my dreams about how good this idea was. And then like somebody brought it up in chat while we were on with the celebrity that I wanted to pitch this idea to.
Who are you on with? I was on you may know him, Billy. I don't know, Thomas Lennon from State,
great friend of mine.
Reno 911.
Yeah.
And basically what had happened is you know, we find out it's him and Ben Garant, you know, who play Lieutenant Dangle and, you know, Officer, you know, Travis Jr. on Reno 911. And my pitch idea was Ben in real life has a Joker tattoo on his side, but he's never not worn the bulletproof vest. Like he wears a bulletproof vest in every episode. So I pitched him an idea of there being like, you know, these criminal nerds that are trying to steal things. And Travis Jr. is about to catch them, and they chloroform him, and he wakes up in a bathtub of ice in a seedy motel, and a note that gives him, you know, here's a phone, you know, you need to call somebody, and his side's all bleeding and everything. And they show up and they're like, oh my God, someone's taking his kidney. But in reality, they gave him the Joker tattoo. So that was my pitch.
But if you want to see the pitch completely flop, just go to episode 126.
It was definitely a dumpster fire. It was a dumpster fire because I was put on the spot, and I was vehemently told to not pitch that ever by someone. I'm not gonna name any names. I'm gonna name any names.
We had Ben and Tom on last week from Reno 901, and Blevins has this pitch, and he wanted to tell this pitch, and I'm like, do not tell them your pitch. They can't.
You're like, don't you do it, loser? And I was like, that's rude, Billy.
And look, you can't pitch your story. They write those issues. You can't. And then I don't know. Someone in the chat said, "What's your?"
It was Lee Ditzword.
Said it,
and I was like, I can't. That's not an NDA. I'm not allowed to do it.
And they put Blevins in the Hollywood spotlight for 2 minutes. And
all right, because I'm supposed to cut out at the top of the hour here. I want to ask my question.
Yeah,
We'll go back to this question after.
And that is one of the things that's always seemed unnatural to me, Jimmy, out of your creator-owned properties. And I really, to this day, can't figure out why it hasn't been done, particularly since all the special effects they could do now. What's the story with Ash?
So Ash was a superhero firefighter Joe Quesada and I came up with around 1994. And by 96 or 7, we sold the property to DreamWorks, which is Spielberg, Geffen, and Katzenberg, Jeffrey. And they did maybe 6 or 7 scripts or on Ash. I think I've read like 2 or 3 of them. And for some reason, they couldn't get it started. But the deal we made is they have the character. They own it. They own the character. This is when nobody was selling things to Hollywood. And and what we got paid was the highest. I think it was the highest thing paid for a property back then. We got paid a lot. So we still own the comic rights. We can ask them to do toys, which they always say yes if we wanted to do them. But I think once we sold it, Joe didn't want to do the character anymore as a comic. Like, he just felt, all right, whatever, on to other things. And over the years, I've inquired about it, and I've had other people ask me about it, and DreamWorks still owns it. Nothing would make me happier than have them to call me and just. I actually, at one point, I think I got offered. They said, if you want to do a script on spec, and I told them I don't understand what that word is, and so I said no. But I'm hoping one day somebody, a new young blood comes in there and says, "Hey, we got this property sitting here, fireman superhero. How hard could this be? Why don't we do this?" It's so funny because Joe and I, we talked about like reprinting the books.
Yeah.
And maybe throwing a new cover on it. But, we don't have any film from those books. They all got lost. The printer lost all the film from the books.
Really?
So we'd have to actually scan each page.
Scan and clean up.
Yeah, it can be done. But it's one of those characters that, for me, it was like a no-brainer why they couldn't DreamWorks. And I think the last time I met with them was with Jeffrey Katzenberg, and Jeffrey said he saw it as like a 3 animated movies in a row. Mm-hmm. And yes, and somebody's pointing out that we made a big party with that Ash money. We did. Billy was there. A lot of you guys were there, actually. We did. We celebrated when we made that deal.
It was a Rat Pack night
at the X Bar. We did it. Yeah, at the X Bar.
Near the Flatiron.
We invited everyone from Marvel and DC and Valiant for open bar all night at the X Bar, and let me tell you, everyone at the companies went. It was hundreds of people drinking. I mean, the tab was insane. But we were sharing in the celebration,
Yeah, and then we went on the you rented a limo. We did that Rat Pack night.
Yeah, we did that. We went out and with Shanae and that was a
Oaks.
John. Yeah, we knew it was like an odd thing that was happening. Like all of a sudden, a lot of attention, and if they made that movie, it would have changed a lot of things, right? A lot of things in my life would have changed. So who knows? look, everybody has alternate timelines. I think today they just found out there's another Earth, right? There's another dimension parallel to us. NASA had the story today. Did anybody read it?
No, this is the first I'm hearing of it.
Wait, like the 10th planet?
Like if there's like a parallel universe that coexists with us, that things go backwards. Like you got to read it because it's really hard to understand, but they have actual proof.
Really?
Is that like clickbait though?
Everything is the same except they eat corn on the cob this way.
Yeah, right. And the toilets, the water goes this way, except in Australia it goes that way. But yeah, it's some weird thing that they found proof in this kind of, subatomic thing that shows them that there's the parallel universe to us.
That's all those orbs and stuff we're seeing then.
What's
this
that?
was saying like an hour ago.
Oh, there it is. Look, NASA finds evidence of parallel universe where time runs backward. That's.
Oh,
But time is just something we've created to establish space.
I thought YouTube created time because
So does that mean that universe is getting younger? So when the Earth dies, we'll have the technology to hop into that universe and we can live.
I'm hoping
Infinite.
In the Jurassic Age.
What if Parallel Nile's a dick? That would suck.
So at any rate,
and he hates White Castle.
The Ash question was the one I wanted to ask. So
what's that?
The Ash question was the one I wanted to ask. I mean, you've a bunch of your properties. I can see them very easily as film, and I literally remember reading the first issue of New West and just being blown away. Did you get close on Beautiful Killers too?
Yeah, Beautiful Killer. We had Jessica Alba was going to play. She actually did like was it one of the talk shows? I think Jay Leno talking about the book, which was very nice.
Oh wow!
And again, it got that far, and then the screenplay came in, and everyone hated it. It took out the screenplay, completely ignored the stuff with the girl and the parents, and that's the whole core of the story.
That's the whole story.
And Jessica Alba read it, the screenplay, and said, "Yeah, this is not what I signed up for."
Yeah.
And she said, "I'm out." And that was the end of that. I've had like so many almost. It's not funny. It's ridiculous.
Well,
but that's why I focus so much on the comics, because I can't control that stuff, unless I start making the movies myself. But I don't want to lose my hair that quick. You know what that's.
I know what that's like.
Yeah, I actually told it's so funny because one of my last arguments I had with the franchise people, and this is going back maybe 10 years ago, I was like, you know what? I'll make this movie 20 years from now myself. Maybe I got 10 years left. Maybe I will do it. Now with them. But Jimmy, knowing that now that you're writing screenplay yourself, and you've got
a good night, Jeff.
Hey, happy birthday!
Thank you very much.
Jimmy, that you're writing a lot of screenplays yourself. You have your writing partner, some with him as well. Is your star sort of rising, or are you getting more recognition, or maybe you get the nod that, okay, I want to write the first draft of the screenplay?
That comes down to my management, right? My manager understands. I wrote the screenplay with Craig Whedon. That's the guy, my writing partner. We wrote the screenplay to Back to Brooklyn, so they're shopping that. They're out there shopping that. I think it's really funny. What I find out when I go out to LA is that people know me from my comics.
Nice.
I go in a room and they're like, "Oh my God, Harley Quinn, Jonah Hex," and so there's a lot of people that are younger people that grew up reading the comics, and they have that respect, out of that. Nobody's running to me to write screenplays for films. Nobody's saying, "Oh, give it to Jimmy, he'll do it." I'm not there. I don't know if that's something where I have to just move to LA for a year and be accessible to people. So half of that business is who you know and work in the room, right? The good news, if Amanda and I went out there, we would know a lot of people and we'd be working that room like crazy. But I don't know if I can get that part of my soul back.
Yeah.
That I would lose while I'm out there. And it's not as important as it used to be to me. I think the most important thing right now is to get better with my writing and to get the books better. That's what I'm kind of working on. I think the fantasy stuff, of course, is great to have a film. But Amanda and I have been we've been very lucky. We've been to movie premieres. John Singleton was a good friend of ours, took us to every premiere he had and red carpet. And even like with Birds of Prey, we're out in London and we're hanging out with the stars of it and having a great night partying with them. Like those are the fun parts.
Yeah.
But what DC and Marvel and these companies don't do is say, hey, you know what? Let's get Jimmy and Amanda, since they worked on Harley for so much. Let's get them on the set here. Let's see what they can bring to the film, or maybe they can consult. And nope,
not yet.
No, I mean, look, if we didn't get it with Harley Quinn, what the hell are we going to get it for, right? I mean, that was like the biggest thing we've done. And, so we have to decide to do our own thing, which is what we're doing.
Yep.
Because when you do your own thing, the thing is you can control it. Yeah. When you're working for somebody else, you can't control it. And that's basically what the main drive of everything is these days is, if I'm going to write this and you want to make a film, you're going to make it on my book. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to have a lot to say about it. I'm going to be a producer. I'm going to be a consultant. I might even write the screenplay. And that's the power you want to have, because you want to keep your vision.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And it's hard. It's a hard wrangle because people with money don't want you involved. They say they do, but they just want your property. And hopefully that changes. We're trying one step at a time. We're trying.
Jimmy, another one of my favorite comics of all time that Jimmy is The Pro. And anything screams, especially today, and I know how it could be, but I think it being so crazy would actually help it and would be a film that kids would be sneaking into the theaters to see and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just think that there could be this cult of personality about this character, and this is the film you have to see that you're not allowed to see.
Right.
It's pretty racy, if you will. But it's a great story. It's a real heartwarming story. And just, is there anything going on with The Pro? And maybe for the people out there that aren't familiar with it, maybe give a little.
There's an animated thing on YouTube, and somebody put the link up that Amanda worked on. Yeah. That's like a tease for the book. It's like an 8-minute animated tease Amanda worked on.
Thanks for putting up that link, by the way.
And Band in Boston. No, it's not really. We're hoping Seth Rogen gets the book in his hands, because it's made for Seth Rogen. Yeah. Like his production company should just call Garth, because he, obviously they work together with the boys, and they should get on it. But we have actually sold The Pro for development 4 or 5 times now, and the last one was with Paramount Films, and they even did a screenplay, which we actually was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good.
And then again, it changed hands. Somebody said it's too crazy, we don't want to touch it. But I got to be honest, if they made an animated series and it was on Netflix, it would be one of the hottest.
Yeah,
it would be one of the funniest shows. But a lot of people get scared by it because it does push a lot of buttons. I
feel like if they could do some of the shit they did on Future Man, then they could totally make The Pro.
No, I agree.
On Future Man,
maybe we need to do a second Pro book, but that's like Garth doesn't want to do that. Like that's a property that if we did a second one, the book would be like insane, so crazy. But Garth has no. What about I Am Legend?
Legion. Are you guys familiar with Legion?
Is that movie company that tries to get people's money to make films?
Yeah. Okay. Kevin Smith did his movies through this and whatnot.
Oh no!
So it's like a Kickstarter for films. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's basically the fans are the investors.
Oh, that's cool.
Does it work?
Yeah, I mean they've produced a lot of movies.
How much of that one film? Scroll down, Nile, if you can. That one right on the left.
But
that one.
The left right game.
This?
Yeah. Is that can you see how much that raised, or did they tell you?
It's a podcast series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, man, I'm like you too, Jimmy, that it was so important when we were younger to want to film. Oh my God, yeah, I'll come out there, and you fly out and the whole thing, and now you're like, it would be great. It would be life-changing if it happens.
Yeah.
If not, you know what I mean? You don't want to rush it. You don't want to put out a crap property too.
Right.
And they're actually doing their first self-published comic.
I'm curious what this website raised like for some films.
Yeah,
And
I mean, so
what do they offer the people? Like, what do they get if they back a? Is there a current movie that they're trying to raise money for on it
well,
that we can look at?
let's see projects. Slate of projects. Emperor's Blade. So it seems they do more than movies. It's almost like you can invest in all different forms of media.
Ah.
Billy. Something else. Well, you know,
they want to. Okay, so Emperor's Blade, they want to turn into like a mini series or something like that,
right? And so, how much are they? Okay, so Arch Enemy post production. So, I mean, I don't see here like where you can back as Kevin reboot. Oh, his reboot was.
Yeah, James Silent Bob reboot. It was funded through Legion.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy. It's easy to fund a movie when you're Kevin Smith and it's a sequel to another movie, you know. And Mandy, okay, that one was done. But what's the current? Is there any current thing? Because these are all existing films. These have been around.
Oh, I didn't know Colossal was done through them. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, these are movies that were done through them, so they're obviously showing you their flagship stuff here.
I'm seeing stars and names.
Yeah, I wonder if that's their pet projects.
Yeah,
like they come to it with you have your stars and everything.
Right, pitch elevator. This looks exhausting to me. There's Stan Lee. Hello, Stan. How are you guys? How are you doing?
True believers.
How are you, Billy? How are you making comics still? You know, I'm okay watching you. I'm watching you make comics, Billy.
And this is now they have their own comic book publication as well. Airship Cowboys is their first comic book.
And so how do you see what it raised? It doesn't show anything. It's just
you're an investor, so it's more. I don't know. I think you have to join. I think to actually get, and then you invest. Because I mean, like when these guys go live on Facebook. I've actually invited them to come on the show. They said they would do it.
Right.
To talk about this stuff in more detail. But it's like when you're investing, you're like a serious investor. Like you're dropping six figures.
So it's really okay. Well, let me tell you, there's a million of these kind of companies out there.
Yeah.
Look. There's comic companies that are all there are is go out and get investors. There's a couple of well-known ones, that are run by investors.
Here we go. Robert Sell. He says right here. Hang on. He's got Legion M is good. I'm a first-round investor. I think they're up to round 6 now.
Oh, cool.
Round 6. So they raise money and then you own a piece of the film, I guess.
Round 6 closed.
Oh.
So they must be prepping for round 7.
All right. So this might be something to look in and do a show around and get one of the guys. Get Scott Landsman on.
Yeah. Well, these are the 2 guys right here that would come on.
All right. Get those dudes because I'd watch that.
Paul Scanlon, what all has he done? That name sounds familiar.
Jimmy, we'll have to have you on, or you just stare at him.
Tolkien, they funded Tolkien. That's good. I like that.
That was made, right? Tolkien was made.
That's just me, though.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, look, it's. Let's be honest. They mine comics for what they can, and then they move on. And I don't know. Like I said, I'm more concerned about the actual comic book people have in their hands. The films and the movies and the TV, that's all for other people to do. Yeah. I'm happy when they do it. I'm happy to get a check. I still have a check up there that I haven't cashed because it was for so little money. I'm just not cashing it. It's just, what is it for?
You're like, it's for like $30,000. It's so little.
Yeah.
Never going to cash it.
$1.
It's
for $1.
It's for $1.
I have a check from a company for $1. I didn't cash it, so officially they don't own the property. They don't know that yet, but that's another thing. So comics are the main focus, right? We make great comics and then let the other people figure it out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
Now, could you get your properties back, like your characters and stuff that were sold off? I mean, would you have could you buy them back?
Well, the reversion, Ash is the only property we ever sold that there's no reversion rights on it because we didn't know about that and our lawyer at the time didn't put it in the contract. Now everything has a reversion of rights. So usually when the contract runs out, we get the rights back, or if they even have it longer, it's going to say if they don't develop it within 2 years, they have a right to renew the development deal, meaning they have to pay again.
Yeah.
And if they don't, then I get the rights back. So I have the rights now back to Jane, the Pro, back to Brooklyn, Monolith. I have the rights to all these books. I have them all back. So my manager goes out when he hears they're looking for something, he'll place it. There you go. Jimmy, would you create content just for Netflix, Hulu? Yes, of course I would, Alberto.
Yeah.
But nobody's knocking down a door for that. I think it would be great for Netflix to grab both Amanda and I and throw us on come up to a couple of projects for them.
I agree.
Mark, Miller. How do you say? I say Millar.
Miller.
Miller, is it proper? Okay.
Yeah.
Mark is like a guy, that has a great deal with them, that's producing stuff for them. And we would do that. That'd be fun.
That would, yeah.
We would try to sell, we try to push the Pro and the stuff we have already on them. And then we have some stuff Amanda and I are working on that create our own stuff that next year is going to be our, premiere of that. A lot of Amanda kind of work next year.
Then we got a question from Joe Ryan.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that? Oh, what were you holding up there?
I missed it. I can't.
I'll bring it right back.
This comes out in 2 weeks.
Nice.
Awesome.
This is the next volume of Amanda's collection that DC is doing, and it has a lot of stuff. Nice big book, beautiful. It's got Harley. It's got Silk Spectre in it. It's got TNA and penises in it too, which is
Crazy.
Yeah, man.
I bet the only people in the world that have that right now are you and Art Bear, right?
What? RT Bear has a penis?
No, he has that book.
Bear doesn't have a penis. I mean,
okay, man.
I enjoy what they did on the WB animated cartoon.
Harley Quinn.
It's fun. It's really fun. I mean, that's what we were going for. Like just all out craziness, and I love it.
It's a great show. Again, nobody asked us to be involved other than Amanda doing a sketch or two.
I did some character turnarounds and stuff for them and some designs. But yeah, I mean, I really love the way it came out, though. I like it a lot.
Now, have you done storyboarding for any television or film projects?
Yeah,
I've done storyboarding for commercials before. Okay. Before I got a lot of comic book work, I only had a little comic work. My first job was like 1988, and like between 1988 and 1990, I guess I didn't have a whole lot of work, like not enough to survive on. So I did a lot of advertising, and I did a bunch of storyboards for. I don't know if like some of you guys might be too young for it, but there was storyboards for the Arm & Hammer boxes, little baking soda boxes, and I little baking soda boxes that talk to each other in the freezer. I did the storyboards for that, and
I remember those commercials. I used to love. They would talk to one another.
Yeah, and they had like earmuffs and like a scarf. Yeah, that was me, and the dogs that used to, there was like a mom dog that was like vacuuming, and she had like all these puppies. So of course the carpets was stinky, so she would, sprinkle. Arm & Hammer Pet Fresh down and like vacuum. They trained a dog to vacuum.
Amanda was in a commercial.
What? We can't find it anywhere.
We can't find it anywhere, Billy. We tried.
Jimmy is looking so hard.
What commercial were you in?
So this is back in the 80s. I think I was like 22 years old. And Sergeant Rock.
Not Sergeant Rock.
No, Sergeant Slaughter. I'm so tired right now. It was all the wine.
Sergeant Slaughter, the wrestler. The wrestler.
The G.I. Joe.
His team, they were doing this. They were putting on this show at, those monster truck rallies where they were doing a
tug of war.
A tug of war, thank you. Tug of war with Bigfoot the truck. And basically they did like an ad for it, and I did the storyboards for that ad, and I made a little, they said, be in the commercial, we need a girl for the commercial, somebody that looks like badass. And I was taking like
that's you
karate 5 days a week, so I was really in shape. And I made like this camouflage like bikini loincloth thing. and it was me and a bunch of angry-looking wrestlers like tearing apart, a toy Bigfoot truck. So yeah,
can't find it anywhere, Billy.
He's like looking so hard for it. Nobody knows.
You gotta find that.
Blevins may find it.
Yeah,
Blevins, call Sergeant Slaughter up.
It's really
I need to probably just ask.
Yeah,
we looked at
probably just ask him if he has it.
What's that?
I said I probably just need to ask him if he has it, or if
you can ask him.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, that would make the internet for the day if Amanda in her little bikini ripped it with a bunch of wrestlers. That's
tearing a toy Bigfoot truck apart.
Yeah. Joe's back with another question for you.
Oh, he just loves to hear that.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I like to do that kind of work. It's a lot of fun.
I have a question. I know that you said that, if you could take the time and go to Los Angeles or whatever it is, like that would be what you would, kind of feel that you would need to do to maybe be able to jump in there and hobnob or whatever. But is that not something that could be done just in Georgia? Like
you would
isn't Georgia as big Atlanta, huh?
I do. I never even thought of that, to be honest with you.
You know what? You're right.
Because that's where everything is. I mean, I think all the scripts and everything is coming out of Georgia too. I mean,
check that out.
Yeah.
Explain to me Georgia. I don't. Is
well,
that
remember Georgia?
We're filming
Georgia.
Like so much stuff is getting made there. Yeah. But they're actually like doing the creating and the
I'd have to lose this hat if I went to Georgia, number one.
Yeah, like
that would have to come. A Yankee. What is a Yankee?
The only reason I say that is because I've been I've talked with Dan Fraga a couple times, and I watch his content and stuff that he's been making lately, and he talks a lot about how he does all this script, storyboarding, everything that he does. Like, he was a director for a bunch of shows and stuff, and he was in Los Angeles, and he moved from there to Georgia, and I mean, he does like almost everything from Georgia, from what I understand.
That's great. And it's a lot closer to where we are. That's for sure. Yeah. That's an easy trip.
I honestly, I just want people to come to me. It's a little exhausting. I thought it was enough that I did these books and made them readily available to anybody that needs them. There is that thing, right, Billy? Like where you're like, isn't it enough? I just spent 25 years doing these books. Can't you just take this book? I can't tell you how many times I've set up a Dropbox account for a producer with 25 books of mine that I own all the rights to, and I send it to them, and I never hear from them again, or they're they're overwhelmed. They're like, "What?" Like,
yeah. I mean, there is so much.
They go, "You own all this stuff," and I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Oh, okay," and I'm like, "Yes,
them too."
Yeah,
and then
there's so much content being pushed and developed that is seemingly just for TV, and the fact that you have these comic book that have already, like, the properties that they're making for TV are kind of like, unproven.
Well, they're not good comics. They're making a lot of crappy comics.
Yeah.
Because all they care about is it going to be a TV show? Is it going to be a movie? Yeah. And they're forgetting that it has to work as a comic book. And my thing is, my comics have to be comics. If you want to make a TV show or film, then you have to adapt it and get to work. But I don't want to make a book that's only a film or a TV. I might as well write it and just send it out there. And I think there's a couple of comic book companies out there right now that every book they're doing is trying to sell it as a movie. And and there's some new companies. I mean, in the last 6 or 8 months, you can tell it's just investors want properties. Yeah. And comic people smell that. We're like those trained drug dogs. We can smell when something's just trying to make an opportunity to make money, and it's not about the actual comics. And we're all pretty trained with that. We know it. We could smell that. The guys doing it don't think that. They think we're stupid, and they think like, well, these comic people will buy anything, and they think, well, if I get this guy for the cover, then of course I can sell it. And there's a lot of people just forgetting, like, yeah, you got to make a great comic first. The hell with all this other stuff, you know. Death metal. They're forgetting to have. Yes, actually, exactly. Yes, hell yes, yes. Death metal hero with your blue mohawk, your awesome blue mohawk.
Dude, let me tell you, Death Metal Hero. I've seen him on almost all the shows. Definitely got to give a shout out. Like every chance he gets, he pushes the show for sure. So,
Like,
so thanks a lot, man.
I'd like to know. If
We see you. We see you, Death Metal Hero.
Is that
see
a
you,
photo
man.
with Death Metal Hero? Is that your picture with the blue mohawk? You let us know.
That's him. We're friends on Facebook. That is him.
Yeah.
That's awesome, and his sideburns are pretty excellent too. There.
Heck yes. Heck yes, it is.
Alton Simpson. We had him on last night. Great guy.
Yeah.
Vampires of New Jersey. Great book.
Are there vampires?
Smart guy. What a smart guy.
Oh
Wow.
yeah. Oh yeah.
God,
Wait, this guy's saying Mike is saying he think he found the commercial with Amanda.
I think I found commercial with Amanda.
He sent it to Billy. I don't believe it, but
who's that?
I mean, if he found it so
Mike,
fast.
how did you send it to me? Did you email
he
it to
said
me?
he sent it to you. I don't know. Yeah,
Where did he send it though?
if he found it, he wins, man. Because my God,
Yeah, Jimmy's been looking for it for a while.
I mean, he's got some database I can't
He
get.
just won a free day with Amanda at White Castle.
Fiala.
Can you open it?
Where did you find? How'd you message it to me? Did you send it to me through the Facebook or through the Twitter?
Okay, Grandpa. Well, the
I think he sent it through the emails, Billy.
Did you
It's
send
electronic
it through the
letter.
emails? Like
Trying to-
where?
I'm going through the interwebs.
Do you know they have yogurt in tubes? You don't even
Can you
need
know
a
what's so funny?
spoon.
That we,
Tuber.
our generation created all this stuff, man. We were
He
on it
Facebooked it, bro.
dial-up homes.
How do you open up that?
So here's a
Oh, he
funny
didn't send
story.
it. I don't. Oh, he Facebooked it. I don't know.
All right, I got it. Hang on. I'm
He said,
going.
was it a music video?
It's just a commercial.
It's a commercial.
I found a commercial.
Look at see if
Oh my
it,
God, this is it. I think this is it. Hang on.
Oh my God, share the screen.
Scala, no, it's on my Mac. I'm going on my Mac. I'm gonna text it to you.
No, don't text it.
No, don't message it.
Like
Take it.
email it or send it to me via a
drop it in
computer because I can't from the cell phone to the computer. I can't do it.
I.
You know?
Oh, don't you
I
have,
heard-
you have messaging?
You know
on
you can get pickles in so many different styles, Billy.
pickles. Ooh.
Spears, sandwiches.
I heard they're putting the interwebs on phone now.
That's real Arkansas, you there, buddy.
I like.
All right, I found it. I'm gonna watch a little bit of it. Wait a minute. Oh my God, there's the trucks.
Right, but is Amanda in it?
Yeah, I think that's Amanda right there. Hang on, let me see. Let me make it bigger.
Oh, the
You like-
anticipate-
Wait a minute, this is like in a desert or something. This
oh.
girl,
Just in a big room.
and he's
It's a
playing
big room.
guitar. Hang on. Oh my God. this is so
Billy's
bad.
just being suspenseful. He's like,
No,
I think
sent it
this
to-
is it. I'm pretty sure that this is it.
Oh my
This
God.
is it.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's totally
Yeah.
not it. It's like
Yeah.
some.
It's not it, right?
It's not it.
No.
Let's go do it to Amanda. Hang on. Amanda, where'd you guys film it?
Like
Connecticut.
in some studio in Connecticut.
They said it's Sergeant Slaughter playing.
It was,
I think like
it
Bloodwine,
wasn't
like,
outside or anything.
It was my Uncle Tony's basement.
Guitar.
No, it was a really short clip. It was just like Sergeant Slaughter, like he had one of those like toy
Monster trucks.
monster
Yeah, that's not it. That's not it.
and he like tears it in half and
Yeah, the chances of that guy finding it that quick, I can't believe that.
Yeah, that's not it.
and I think they did have a bunch of commercials for that particular,
It's
thing.
like in the video, Billy's looking at like a redheaded with like freckles
He's
and
like-
everything like
he's
that. He's
like,
like, I think that's her. Looks like
Well,
they're from
like-
Wendy's.
No,
He's zooming in though, but with his head, he's like,
blonder though.
Here's Billy's other hand.
is that it?
Wait, no, not her.
You know me, I love him. Oh, wait a minute. Here's a bunch of people. Oh, yours was all indoors, right, Amanda?
I think so. Yeah.
Mike, good try though, buddy.
If you see a girl in like a maybe
Yeah,
it was
Yeah, there was a group of people standing there with that, but it looks like it's in California or something.
Sunday.
yeah, one of
Raceway Park. It's not Raceway Park.
This Sunday at the
I'm looking at
Speedway Colossal Dome. Come
Yeah,
see
nah.
Bigfoot versus Otis Hunter. Special guest, Amanda Connor.
yeah. Nothing to you, Amanda.
Future industry star.
There's a couple of other girls with like torn up camo.
Yeah, I think there was like this was actually before the commercial happened before they actually started doing the thing.
Let's see.
They hadn't.
The thing with the trucks.
I'm watching the thing now with the.
Oh, you see it? Yeah.
Okay.
I can send it to you, Jimmy. Well, you got it. So
It's just Monster Truck. There's Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah, it wasn't in the desert.
No, it's not this with the girls.
Yeah, that's
No.
not. Let's see.
Oh, behave.
Yeah, this is like I think it's like he had been doing this for a while now, and he like made a video or something. But this was just a short commercial
That's
that
not you?
advertised it. No,
That's not you, the blonde,
no.
polishing the engine.
wow,
That looks like Deborah Harry for a second.
I know.
No, that's not it, sadly. But still, it's worth. Thank you for finding that.
Yeah, thanks for. Oh no, you're good.
Did he fail?
Mike, you did not
Did
fail.
he fail?
You did. You found what I found, which was like the easier thing, but it's this is a hidden one. You know.
Oh, Polito's done now. Can you start over? How do you do? What's he at, Lee?
Oh,
What is he at?
Polito fit what his campaign? What's
He
done?
launched his new campaign tonight.
Today?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to retweet it for Brian.
Yeah. Well, speaking of campaigns, man, Jimmy, you guys killed it with Pop Kill #1.
Honestly, yeah, you pop killed it. Hey,
We
Pop
did.
killed it, man.
Hey, yeah, we're happy. I'm waiting for those checks, the money to clear, so I can send everybody the digital books right away because we have it ready to go.
Yeah, we're waiting for our review copy. Whenever you get a chance.
Yeah, it's behind you and over there. In there. Keep going. In there, over
You
there.
guys raised 1,375 backers, and you raised over 59 grand, almost 60 grand.
Yep, Amanda and I going to Italy for a month.
I wish.
It's not as crowded.
It's true. I think it's the best time to travel right now because things are empty.
You got a scuba suit?
You would get a scuba. I do it. Scuba suit to Italy. It's only 9 hours.
Everything's closed. Iceland's only 4 hours away, and they have like.
I'd like to go to Iceland.
I'd love to go.
Iceland. The problem Iceland had was with tourism. Too much tourism. I don't know if you read that thing about Iceland. There's so many tourists that they can't get enough food there. They can't get enough stuff there. It's like insanely. It was like a hot spot. I mean, now nothing is busy though, except Clearwater Beach. I think that's going to be packed this weekend.
And the last 2 episodes of The Price is Right, they gave away an Iceland trip. It was weird. In a row. They never do that, but they gave it away in a row. Like
it's like Venice. Like Venice is a beautiful place, but not when it has gigantic boats coming in 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Then it turns to crap. People ruin everything, is what I'm trying to say.
Now there's like dolphins and fish swimming through the canals of Venice.
Italian dolphins.
Good little flipper.
Well, congratulations on that book, man. So what's next after Pop Kill, guys?
Well, so Pop Kill's 4 issues, right? So we're gonna do a Kickstarter for the 2nd issue soon. Nice. Once everybody we're not gonna do it till everyone has their books in their hands.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll hook them in for the 2nd one. And also Sex and Violence 3 is the next one. That's like a series of short stories focusing around sex and violence. The third one. We've done 2 before. And I'm working on a lot of stuff because I haven't been working for anybody else. So I've been working on my own stuff. And I'm working on a secret project, Billy.
Oh, really?
Super secret.
That Billy's involved with. He doesn't know it yet, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that we talked about?
Yeah, so I'm working on that to get for you guys.
Only us 4 know about it.
Yeah.
That's it. And
character designs and of 2 characters, I want you to know which one you think is better for it. So
okay, good. Death Metal Hero. Mandy says he's in St. Augustine.
I love
St. Augustine.
Oh, look who sent us a hug.
Oh,
nice.
Double waves.
Ooga. So
Oh, how she did we tell Francisco? We got to we're gonna tweet the campaign that went up live
let's
today.
find it.
Yeah, can you guys find it?
Yeah,
Everybody
I'm gonna put it up.
Brian's
Play the
newest
video.
campaign.
Play the video too, Nile.
Oh, definitely.
Ooh, indubitably.
Ooh.
Indubitably.
So here's a funny story, Amanda. So we're hanging out and with our neighbors the other day, and we're on the driveway, and we're all talking. And I said, "Wow, I never realized there was so many brunettes on Long Island." And so my one neighbor says, "Oh, she goes, oh, Billy, she's like, there are no real blondes over 40 years old anymore. Like, everyone who's blonde, they lose that blonde. Remember, I had blonde hair. People have blonde hair. It gets dark as they get older."
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, but I said, I think Francisca and Crystal are my only real blonde friends I have." I know. And then Francis is like, "No."
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Because with Debbie, I'm like, "You're not real blonde."
Look at this. This is Brian's new.
Great.
Yep.
You just launched
novel.
it.
He just launched it. Yeah, he's
He must have launched it just a minute ago because it's only at 28,000.
Oh, for
Oh,
Brian.
La Muerta. Hey, La Muerta.
We have Brian on tomorrow, and
we have
Umberto.
Brian on tomorrow, and Humberto Ramos is coming back on.
Yep.
It looks just like
What are you doing tomorrow, Jimmy? Why don't you guys come back on?
I do it tomorrow. What I do every day. I eat Pop-Tarts, watch TV.
You want to play the video and see what this book's
Yeah,
about?
let's play the video.
Yeah, play it. Let's see it. Let's watch. Hopefully it's Francisca in it.
Hey everybody, I'm Brian Plato, publisher,
right.
creator of The Avenging Angel, La Muerta, and we are back with an all-new 48-page graphic novel entitled La Muerta Retaliation. Everyone thought Mama Z was dead, but forbidden witchcraft has brought the ruthless cartel boss back from the depths of hell to once again rule the streets. Now Mama Z has only one unyielding desire, to see the avenging vigilante known as La Muerta completely destroyed. To carry out her nefarious plan, Mama Z enlists an army of bloodthirsty psychos and corrupt, trigger-happy cops. Relentlessly, they hound La Muerta through the city's meanest streets and most dangerous back alleys. But they made one fatal mistake. They underestimated La Muerta's sheer will to survive. Soon, the hunted becomes the huntress as La Muerta wages a savage war to once again avenge her family's murder, all leading to one of the most brutally violent, bullet-ridden climaxes ever. Bringing this climactic chapter to life is writer Mike McLean, series illustrator Joel Gomez, colorist CC De La Cruz, and veteran letterer Marshall Dillon. And here's the thing, this project is done. All we got to do is print, but we need your help to make La Muerta happen. Please pledge now. Your support gives us life, makes us mighty. We simply cannot do this without you. Thank you so much, everybody. La Muerta for life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a great video. See how quick it was?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's quick. It's to the point. It's exciting.
I like the sound effects. The slap. Oh, is she?
Oh. What was that?
I was what?
What? That caught me a little off guard, I gotta say.
That got me.
Don't miss out. So everybody watching this has to back it right
We
now.
just got another $1,000 since we played the video.
See, I'm telling you, it's
Keep
been live
cranking away.
for like a minute. For 1 minute, it's been live. We watched that video, and that's it. It's live. Look at that. Brian knows that the whole
He's already
crew
at
knows.
29,000 now. He's already at over 29.
Yeah.
I know. Once you scroll back up, it's going to be at 35. You'll see.
The man does it.
CC
I think he could
Delacruz-
convince me to do anything.
CC
The way he
Delacruz.
hypes everything.
Yeah, CC Delacruz is an amazing colorist. She's actually coloring Miss Fury too.
All
Oh,
right.
really? Oh, awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is great.
What?
He's got
All
it
right.
down through science. Thanks. Oh, we love and miss you too. Hopefully
Yeah.
we'll see you soon. We're just gonna come into your house when you guys are sleeping one night. What do you think, Amanda? We'll sneak
I
into
think that
with
they would
Brian
be
and Frank.
perfectly happy with that.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Remember, it's Amanda's fault.
Hey, break out the wine. I've had
You'd
the
show up.
we've had the honor of going to their house, and they're incredible hosts.
You know, it would be cool to do like
you guys are too.
I think it would be cool to kickstart fake movie trailers for our stuff, and then people can win parts in the movie trailer. Like that's what you can do with the Kickstarters.
That's a great idea.
Be one of the drug lords, or you can be dead guy number 4, or pimp.
What a great idea!
That is a great idea.
Just make a trailer, not a whole film. We just shoot a trailer.
Yeah.
Jimmy, that's great because one of them would end up becoming a film.
Yeah, I mean, but it would be fun. I just don't know why they would back it just to see it, though. You know what I mean? Like with these things, you usually have to give people something. Maybe if there's a book and it's backing, you get a book and the trailer pays for a trailer. Yeah.
Well, wouldn't the trailer be for the book?
Well, but I think you want to involve the people backing it to be part of the trailer or part of the production.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But would it be?
Yeah, it would be for the book. Yeah, it would be
for the book.
Yeah.
That's interesting. What do you think about that, pal?
I think like maybe if you're going to do the book and have the add-on be the trailer for the next book.
The next one.
Stupid idea.
Yeah, I'm out.
Such a stupid idea. Why'd you say that?
Jimmy and Amanda, I know you've been doing a lot more of the Hollywood stuff. Do you have any regrets in your Hollywood experiences? Something you should have done? Maybe a producer you should have went with that you turned down? Anything like that? Do you have any regrets? Like, and you think about it and like, damn, I should have done that.
I regret not having fought more on the Painkiller Jane show, not really being more, not trying to be politically fine with everybody. I wish I was a little more direct and made more noise and stirred things up a little more. Is because it was my first big thing. I was hanging back and letting people, I would be like, oh, okay, if you can't do it. I should have just been like, no, you have to do it. Otherwise I'm going to go out and I'm going to start complaining how crappy you guys are. Or this, like the only power you really have at that point is, it's sort of like in comics, it's like you don't want to not pay me for doing a job because I'll just go on Twitter and just bash you, and because I don't do that often, it'll actually mean a lot when I say these people screwed me. It actually will be something that people go, oh my God, they must have really screwed Jimmy if he's going out there complaining. I just wish I pushed a little more, and I wish I fired some of my managers and agents a lot earlier than I did, or I kind of saw where they weren't getting what I was doing. I should have moved to somebody else quicker, or got to someone else. There's always regrets because when things don't work, you regret that you didn't do this, you regret you didn't do that. I don't regret any decision I made. I just regret that I didn't push harder, back.
Right.
Yeah. Amanda?
I have you take care of all the Hollywood stuff, so
You regret that you weren't an action hero.
Oh well, yeah. I mean,
Amanda wanted to be an action hero.
I wanted to be like an action movie hero, and I regret that I didn't pursue that harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would have been good. Grab the gun over there. No, I'm kidding.
You mean this gun? This one?
No, I did. I took karate for a lot of years because I was like, when I'm an action movie hero, I'm going to need to know how to do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I regret.
You can still do it.
Well, not with these bones now. I'm like,
hey, Grandma, action hero.
There we go. That I can do. Grandma action hero.
Grandma killer.
I actually do have a Hollywood horror story, but it has nothing to do with film. Because I used to, when I was really little, I used to live in the Hollywood Hills.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I used to live in Laurel Canyon, and we had a front, like the front of our house was on a really, really steep hill. And there was a guy who was riding this is like it might have been 1970 or 1971. And there was a guy who was coming down the hill on his bicycle and a car that was going up the hill really fast. And just up the hill from us, they slammed into each other. And I remember seeing ambulances like going up the street and everything and being really curious about what was going on. And I just like walked out into the front yard and there was a river of blood like running down the street. And I was like, wow. And I'm like looking at it and I don't think I was so little I didn't really get what it was. I was like, oh, it's
Did
blood.
you go like this?
No, I knew better than that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
But I was fascinated by it, and I don't think I like understood like there's no way that guy could have lost that much blood and lived. There was so
Maybe
much blood.
he was riding a bike and he just took the blood from a blood van and he was bringing it to the hospital. He had containers.
He was a courier. He was
or maybe
a
he
courier.
made blood for
I hope
films.
so. But I remember my mom like walking outside and like, what are you doing? And I'm like staring at all the blood, and she was like,
Maybe it was a
Drag
New
me back
Jersey
to that.
vampire. Maybe it was a New Jersey vampire on a bicycle.
And then she said, get on your bicycle and go follow the bug truck.
What's that?
Then she said, go get on your bicycle and go follow the bug truck. Remember the
Oh,
bug
that's your
truck?
dad. That's your dad's
You
story.
used to drive by. Ththese guys don't know that. When we were kids,
No clue.
it had the bug truck, and it would be
Spray.
spewing out DDT
holy
to
shit.
kill all the mosquitoes.
What?
And we would ride our bicycles in it. Did you have that by you? I mean, you did, right? With the big smoke, the big giant fog. It was just this giant
Were you
fog.
riding your bike behind it, like trying to catch
Yeah, we would
snowflakes,
ride
trying to
into
catch
it.
the mist?
Bicycle into it?
Your dad
That'd
did.
be a video.
My dad did that too. That's right.
Yeah, your dad. Amanda's dad did that.
Crazy.
Crazy.
Right?
Jeez.
My dad has done some really. I mean, he's from New Orleans, so he's done some especially crazy.
I
stuff.
have a question. What is it that you have to say or do to get banned by YouTube?
Oh, I've been
To
actually.
get banned by YouTube, or
No,
just get?
They don't. You guys had some issues, right? Once where
Well, we had a couple issues where we were going, and then all of a sudden, someone reported, and then we basically got booted from being live, and then I had to file appeals to get my footage back and all that stuff.
Was that
I
when
don't think there's actually
one guy
cute.
was on?
What's that?
Was that when the Reno 911 guy or Humberto was on?
Humberto.
When Humberto's coming back on because that did happen when he was on, and then it happened.
The meanest
Who
man,
else was on?
Humberto.
Humberto, he's a rotten person.
Such a nice guy.
I don't
Sorry
know.
about all the swear words I keep throwing out.
Yeah,
there.
Amanda's horrible.
I
It's like,
do.
it's like
I
a
have
sailor.
I am a little sailory sometimes.
No, it's fine. We just got a strike for every
Little
swear
salt
word you say.
sometimes.
It's okay.
Put $1 in the swear jar.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
there's
all.
Paul Jenkins.
Where?
Hey,
Hey, Paul.
Oh, look at that guy. Look at this.
Paul, he does. He has the most beautiful couple of cigarettes in his mouth. He has. Paul.
That's awesome.
Paul Jenkins.
Yeah, but I think we were being targeted. I don't think it was.
So Dan
anything.
Cragg is not on today.
Braggett comes on every show. He's everywhere. I don't know how he sleeps, that guy.
I know.
And
Oh, no,
Ethan,
I saw a video of him.
What's that, Jimmy?
Ethan pops on too, right?
Yeah, they might be live though tonight. This is
Oh,
a big night.
Well, honestly, with the with everything going on, everyone's online now.
Yeah,
Everyone's. I mean, how many are you getting invited to a bunch of stuff, you guys, with like
Yeah, we
different
won this
podcast
afternoon
shows?
For
This morning.
this morning for Barcelona,
Yeah.
Spain. We did a show, and I think somebody was translating when we were on. So yeah, we were asked to do a lot of them, but we only do some of them. We only
well,
do.
thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Nathan's show.
We like to do your show because we don't. It's like hanging out, so it's easy.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
gonna tell her to come up here.
I like hanging out shows. They're fun. I can drink wine.
Yeah, Amanda's an
And-
alcoholic, so
Yeah.
it pays off.
Well, we set the show for swearing, no
Oh, look,
children.
Hi.
Yeah,
How are you?
Amanda, you look gorgeous.
That's what I said.
Oh
I
my
put
goodness.
mascara on.
It's been hard paying attention.
Well, you always look gorgeous.
Thank you. But
Yeah.
I'm starting to look
Deb?
like a reverse skunk.
What are you wearing?
I
What
like
are you
it.
wearing there, Deb? What is that? What is that outfit?
It's a zip up hoodie.
Oh yeah, baby. What's going on there?
Nothing.
awkward.
How far does that zipper go?
All the way to the end.
Amanda's
This is gonna be great on my TikTok.
I'll drink to that.
Francesca was on before too,
Yeah. We get to
and then Paul Jenkins is here. Death Metal Heroes here.
Everybody's
Everybody.
here.
He says, "I am the least beautiful." Well, what are you talking about,
Come
Paul?
on, you're a handsome man. A handsome man.
Come on, come on.
Yeah, Lee Korsh is there.
Lee Ditzler.
Oh, Lee Ditworth. I thought Lee Ditworth's on. Okay, what's up, Lee?
He's not saying hi to you, Billy. He said hi to Deb.
Yeah, so did Deb.
Yeah.
He said Nile and Billy earlier with a question mark.
I know. I don't know. I was trying to figure out what that was all about.
So nobody has questions, though?
Yeah, anyone have any questions for Jimmy and Amanda?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
Now's the time to ask questions for Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor.
Oh,
I would
I'm
love.
always excited when people ask me just like really like crazy things out of left field.
left field questions. Anybody have one for
Yeah.
Amanda?
Do I have any
Left field
questions? When are you coming to stay with us? That's my question.
When
I
you
go down there. You just take the
gotta give
spot.
us the vaccine.
When we can, we should just drive up.
We can-
No, but the obvious when we're all allowed to leave our homes again. But
How about this? How about this? We rent a house in Italy or France, and then you guys come out.
We'll be there.
okay,
Stay for
When
a
are we
while.
gonna do
that
that?
was easy.
Then we can meet somewhere else, so it's new to all of us.
That's fabulous.
Oh, how was it working with Sergeant?
Oh, that's a great question. See?
It was fun. He was actually, for as like mean as he looks on TV, he was actually really sweet. He was a sweet guy. He was nice. I liked him.
Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah.
What's his real name? Anybody know? Bob?
Carol.
Carol? Carol.
What's one project you wish you could have worked on but didn't get to?
Oh.
That's a really good question. Every once in a while, like people will call me up and go, "Hey, you want to work on this?" And I'll be like, "Oh, I'm on something right now and I can't do it."
I tell her, don't do it.
No,
When
there
people
was,
call
like,
and say, "We want Amanda to do this," I go, "Don't do it. Don't do it."
I think there was like some Marvel stuff, or God, I can't even remember.
Paul's question: Why? Because I was trying to feed
remember.
my fucking cat, and you know why he cut you? Because you call him the fucking cat instead of cat. Use his name, and he won't cut you.
You have to get those cans that, like, you don't have to like do the can.
I like this question. Sun is coming up. Should I sleep or should I stay up drinking coffee? Just watch this podcast. Everything else is on you.
I'm gonna say
He's in Germany right
stay
now.
up, drink coffee,
Write a book and then light it on fire.
like get some stuff done. I mean,
we don't condone burning books here on crowdfunding.
Robert Rudolph.
That's Pop XP, Billy.
Is
Pop
that really
XP.
his name? Robert Rudolph Remus? Triple
Yes.
R?
Yep, Rudolph.
Triple R
Robert
sounds like
Rudolph
another
Remus.
wrestler name. Triple R.
Triple H is
Right.
the guy who's running
But R.
WWE right now.
Mm.
Triple R.
Yeah.
And then there's R-Truth.
So
There's a lot
Deb,
of R stuff.
Isn't that what your friend Freddie
we
Prinze?
have questions for Deb, don't we? We have questions for
What
Deb.
was I say? Ask Dave?
So Deb, how's the
I didn't
cooking?
sign up for questions.
How is staying in different than normal? Like, how is it different for you? Is it like everybody up each other's butt now?
Well,
Or?
it's really funny you should say that because I was just having this conversation with somebody before that since this started, Billy has been telling everybody, oh, it's really not different from us. We work from home all the time anyway, which is true. We both work from home.
Sure.
The difference is Billy never leaves now.
Right.
Normally, Billy goes to a convention at least once a month.
I go
Right.
to Kelly. Yeah, I go to
He's
lunch every
gone
day.
for 3 or 4
You
days.
have your special friends come over. Yeah, I get it.
And special friends. The kids go to school. He goes away.
Oh,
and
yeah, the kids are home, right?
I have to sit in my car in the
She
driveway
does.
to
She
find
sits in the car. I'm
quiet.
like, where the hell is she?
Wow.
Quiet in here. It's not quiet in my house.
What do you mean?
Billy, you
Never been
monster.
quiet in your
No.
house. It's never been
No.
quiet there.
But when he goes on a convention and my kids,
Right.
Or when the kids are at school.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Right.
miss quiet. That is
Yeah.
the biggest thing for me. So when I'm sitting in my car in my driveway, not going anywhere, you know why?
That's why you want me to do all those conventions?
Yes.
Oh,
I actually miss the pub. I actually miss going in, me and Amanda going in the pub and
8th Avenue Pub.
Yeah, and having a couple of big beers and sitting with all the people that we know and laughing at their stupidity.
We really
right on for a good dinner at a nice restaurant tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The girl who owns 8th Avenue Pub is a Long Island girl.
Yes, Joan's she owns.
We love her so much.
Joan, Billy.
Yeah, we went
I
there.
love that place.
Yeah, that place is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's from Long Island. She's from Long Island, Joan. Yeah.
That's what I said.
I
We
didn't
want
know
to come.
that.
I was
What
telling
part of
Jimmy
Long
today.
Island?
I forget.
Come on, Billy.
Build her a quiet room.
Yeah, you got actually, Billy. You have that secret room.
She has a
You have that little secret room that you can.
quiet room in this house. You're so loud.
Safe room.
It's like, it's like Sebastian Maniscalco was saying, the comedian, like the man cave, that the guy has his man cave. And fortunately for her, like our whole house is the man cave. Right?
Deb, I did get guys that headphones. I say use them.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah,
use the headphones.
Walk around with them on all the time.
I have.
They're not noise canceling; they're family canceling.
Right, that's good.
But I haven't got you talking Ethiopian yet. When I really
Because I
drive her
just walk
crazy,
away now.
when I really start driving her crazy, she tries to respond and she's like, like, oh, you're talking
That's
Ethiopian.
because she can't get out a sentence because she's just like overwhelmed by your.
But when the
Craziness.
frustration level hits that's the joke between us. He knows when I have hit the point of no return. Ethiopian.
It's like that, and then but you haven't been cutting. I haven't.
General Hero is. You're right. She is woefully outnumbered.
Would you say his penises everywhere?
Penises everywhere. Oh my god! That was from when they were little, and I'm changing diapers, and then he wants to.
This is the quote tonight. Penises everywhere.
Penises everywhere.
What my wife has to look forward to, Honda.
Absolutely, yeah. How do Amanda and Jimmy stay so funny and positive during these dark times? It's great.
Cocaine. Running around my brain.
Cocaine and Dayquil.
We're actually always trying to make each other laugh.
We do.
I think it distracts us from like how horrible things really are.
Yeah. Plus, if you can find humor in other people's suffering, then you're great. You have all day. You can just giggle and laugh all day.
There's a lot of suffering going on. Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I think we're both like so dispositions, right? People have dispositions that they just naturally have. They look at the world and they either think it's really funny or really sad or real. We're actually two people that look at the world and think it's really funny. Like how strange people are funny to us, stupid people are funny to us, serious people are still funny to us. It's like we find humor in everything, but it's a choice you make, right?
You choose to be happy every day. I tell somebody else that daily.
Right.
It's on my refrigerator. Happiness is a choice.
Yeah, and it is easy to get into a dark state of mind because I do that often.
Yeah, Amanda once in a while has like a little cloud over her.
Yeah,
I gotta smack it away. I gotta knock it away.
Is that when you're feeling? So you tend to feel melancholy?
I do.
Get in a melancholy mood.
I have melancholy tendencies. Yes.
And where do you think that stems from?
Let's slow everything down and really look at what we have to do. No, but yeah, I like I said, of course, if you're preoccupied with things, your brain is a funny place, right? It can totally mess with you.
And I do tend to get preoccupied sometimes.
Yeah. Amanda gets on the internet and takes deep dives.
I tend to rabbit hole.
She rabbit holes.
Mohegan Sun is beginning their reopening process on June 1st.
I mean, we have a convention in our birthday there. But I don't know. I'm
Jimmy and Billy have a birthday a day apart.
Yep.
So,
we're 14. Many years apart. But
no, it's like 3 years apart, I think.
How old are you?
I'm 53. I'll be 54.
I'll be 59.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You look good. You're 2 years older than Jeff Vaughn.
You look great, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Blood of virgins.
Fabulous.
Virgin blood. Amanda brings
Fabulous.
That one of the other things that I do with her, but I haven't caught you chopping onions. So when Debbie's chopping onions, she cries.
I do
That
too.
shit, that shit hurts, man.
Oh my god, it is.
It's horrible.
Sniffles.
Yeah,
It's
so
like
tell
getting
her
pepper
It's like
spray.
spray Lysol in your eyes. You're just like, oh.
every time. Every
Yeah,
time.
and I've been cooking every time.
Crying.
You would know if you cooked, Billy. You don't know what it's like.
But
I
was
hate
telling-
that shit.
Yeah,
you're
before I was
cutting the
telling you
onion,
guys that I
and it's
started, I rediscovered making beef stroganoff. So I'm always cutting onions, and I'm always like in tears.
So I actually sob. It gets so bad. That just
Oh,
I think we all need a good cry, though, don't you think? We all need a good cry.
Yes.
as I'm
Yeah.
sipping and tears are
Yes.
down my face. If Billy will have, sometimes he doesn't have to walk in the room. He'll do like just like a drive by, and he'll see that I'm cutting onions and doing this. He'll go in the next room and he'll call my mother. Mom, you got to do something with Deb. She's
gotta talk-
crying
you gotta
again.
talk
I
to-
can't deal with this
You got to
anymore.
talk to your daughter.
Here, and he just hands me. She's like, "What's the matter now?"
He beats me. He beats me.
Like nothing. I'm cutting onions.
Fucking cutting onions.
I think that's a new podcast, Cutting Onions, where people just cut onions and try to have a discussion as they're crying.
that's a really
It would
good
be the
idea.
greatest podcast ever.
Awesome.
Cutting Onions.
Yeah, let's do that.
Welcome to Cutting Onions.
You know, like sniff pepper and see how we all respond to it and
You'll
stuff.
see.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, if cocaine was legal, it'd be fun. We all did coke and just started doing stuff.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, it's expensive, so
it's too expensive.
yeah, it's too expensive.
And then I would just want to get up and clean the house. I couldn't sit here and talk.
When we get 30,000 subscribers, then we could do that, or 100,000 subscribers.
Cocaine?
Start doing it.
So except though we wouldn't be going down to talking to the mic though, Billy. It was like,
How about if
our next guest right now is freaking insane. Oh my god, it's Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor.
Yeah.
This is the best book I've ever seen in my life. I mean, come on, guys. This is amazing. Blevins, how'd you get here?
Uh,
Whoa. Yeah. Whoa.
I have hibachi waiting for me.
That's great.
It's too expensive, that drug, you know? That drug is, the cocaine's just, it's like not worth the price. You know? It's
Yeah.
so expensive, and then you get, it hits you, and then you're like, and then it's over. Okay.
I never tried it.
That's Whippets. You're thinking of Whippets.
No, whippets are just a waste. Whippets,
Oh, I did whippets.
yeah, those are.
I almost
I do
passed
those.
out
I do
doing
those
it.
like every time before I get on the show. I'm
There
just
you
like,
go.
I'm like, hold on. I dropped something.
Wait, hold that can up.
Yeah, it's like,
Oh, sorry.
Hold that can up again, Blevins.
and then turn sideways.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He has a fake, like a blue green screen.
Yeah, it's like green. Wait, turn your head sideways too.
Yeah, it's the
The other way.
the colors. Yeah, the
Oh,
colors.
it's
Yeah.
color changing. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Whoa.
See.
That's because he's
Wow.
in a relocation program. He's actually not in that room.
He's not real. I've actually generated
behind
Blevins. He
in
doesn't
reality.
exist.
But that's like a relocation background. I get it, but I know what you're up to.
My,
We're gonna do a show with Jimmy, Amanda, you and I, and Brian and Fran, and have them. With
And cocaine.
That would be good.
We have to wait
We
until
have all the edibles at the same
well,
time.
we got a drink. We got
No, I can't. I would just go to sleep.
yeah, it's so crazy. Like I've never smoked. I've never done any drugs or
Dude, we're going party.
drank or anything.
Really?
I've never done anything in my life.
You're gonna snort cocaine off a hooker's ass. We're gonna smoke some weed. We're gonna do some edibles, some cocaine,
You're
and then
actually
we're
not
going
missing
bowling.
We're gonna go bowling.
Yeah.
Yes.
They'll
I
just be
find out
sitting
that I'm the greatest bowler in the world.
time.
Cocaine and Red Bull. No, it's too much. Too much.
You're like,
Kids don't do
we
drugs.
can't do this.
All right.
We can't do this to Blevins.
No, kids
well,
don't do
I
drugs.
think we totally got off subject, but this has been great. I mean,
I have an outside the box question for
Oh.
Amanda.
please.
Yes.
What if you had the opportunity to take any male superhero character from any of the universes and develop them as a female? Who would it be?
That's a really good
That
question.
is a good question.
Ah,
Galactus? No, I'm kidding.
That's a good question because, I'm sort of all about, just developing the female characters that are already there. It would be fun to see.
I mean, I feel the companies have done that to every character already. You know?
I mean, maybe Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle?
Maybe.
Beetle. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Blue Beetle, yeah.
I'm trying to think. Blue Beetle.
Where the hell did that come from, Blue Beetle?
It came from her heart. It's passion.
Yeah.
Man.
Blue Beetle.
The hell?
Niall, you're on fire tonight.
How about a female Booster Gold, and she's really stuck up and conceited, and
Who created Booster
Veronica
Gold?
Lodge.
Veronica.
well, I like Veronica. Most guys like Veronica. They choose her over Betty anyway for some reason.
No, I like them both.
Do you?
Yeah, I would date both of them.
Well, you just gotta put a wig on.
Archie.
Betty,
I'm
right?
Archie. Yeah, I'm very Archie of me. I wouldn't be able to pick. I think because they both have their things I like about them. You know.
Archie.
Hey, did you hear that Skeet Ulrich quit Riverdale? Riverdale? Sorry.
Riverdale?
Yeah, I don't know why I'm saying Riverdale. I've been watching Lord of the Rings, so like
Why?
I didn't know he was on the show.
yeah, he plays Jughead Jones's dad.
Oh, okay.
FP Jones.
Does Jughead eat a lot of hamburgers on the show?
No.
Okay,
Jughead-
I'm
He's
not
a
watching.
dick.
Show
Yeah,
Jughead on that show is the little kid from the Adam Sandler movie.
yeah, Cole Sprouse.
Yeah.
From,
Yeah,
from The Sweet Life and Big Daddy.
Yeah, I started watching that when I had to do a cover. I'm like, oh, let me watch this, and then it was like, oh my god, it was like this supposed to be in 10th grade, and the sex.
Dude, so much of it.
10th grade. So much sex.
Yeah, well, that's about right. That's
What
about
were you
right.
doing in
Like
10th grade?
Yeah, it's like,
What?
hey, look who came
You can bring
downstairs.
them up.
Hey, I have a horror story question to find out if there is a horror story behind it, because I found it like completely weird that this happened. So, and this question is for Jimmy. Like, so when they were gonna do Sword of Azrael, and they got Joe to do it, is there a story why you didn't do the inks for that?
Because Kevin Nolan is a billion times better than me, and he got the job. I wasn't even in the running for it. I think when Joe got the gig, Kevin was the inker that the editor brought in. So, and Kevin redrew a lot of that book. He didn't like the way Joe drew Alfred, so he kind of redrew Alfred a lot. He erased a lot of Joe's pencils, but it's Kevin Nolan. This stuff just looks stunning. I'm glad that happened. I wouldn't have done as good a job as Kevin. Kevin is like, he's one of
Kevin's brilliant.
Yeah, he's one of the best.
I remember Adam Hughes was telling me a story that he was really excited about Kevin inking some pages of his because he was going to get some Kevin Nolan art.
Right.
And then Kevin stayed true to his pencils and he was really disappointed.
He was bummed, yeah. Kevin has a tendency of fixing people's artwork. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, the Sword of Azrael, that's just stupid.
Did you say it was stupid?
I'm kidding.
You're such a shit stir.
Here's the Sword of Azrael. I don't know. Whatever. That's our cat. His name is Devo.
You're on TV.
Nice. Dun 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 dun.
Kevin.
Oh, little kitty. Hi, kitty.
Hey, look, it's a cat.
Hey.
What's that?
Yeah, this is.
If you heard Birds of Prey was with VOD.
Highly successful that they do.
I think they should do a sequel right now. No, I think the movie, people kept calling it a flop, and then I realized it made $200 million, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know how much of a flop that really is. But it didn't do as much as other superhero movies. So, but I thought it was great. I look, anytime Margot Robbie plays Harley, I'll watch it. I think she's brilliant.
She's good.
Yeah.
Hopefully the next movie's just, well, I know there's Suicide Squad 2, which is already shot, but I'm hoping she just does a Harley Quinn movie without the Birds of Prey, without anything. There's plenty she can do story-wise. Maybe if they call us, we'll give them some ideas. Until then, I'm just going to hold my breath, everyone.
I mean, they could just do Harley and
Nice
Ivy.
knowing you.
Harley and Ivy.
I would like that.
I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that'd be. They haven't introduced her yet in the DC extended universe, so
Yeah.
Making her too sweet. It's gotta be more.
Okay.
Little kitty.
What you guys talking about?
This is Amanda's cat. The cat likes me only a certain time of day. Otherwise, it's Amanda's cat. Until Amanda wakes up, the cat's my friend. And then as soon as Amanda's up, like, who are you?
Oh, see, I think that Kaylee Cuoco does a really good voice as Harley.
What?
But ultimately, I would really like to see a live action Power Girl with Kaylee Cuoco as Power
Oh
Girl.
God, she's the one for that role.
I know. She's got like, I mean, first of all, like,
She's a great girl.
looks great, right?
Power Girl.
But her facial expressions are so Power Girl. And that is what totally sold me. It's like she's always doing the exhausted eye roll, which is like a total Power Girl thing. And that's like something I would love to see.
You know what's also interesting, though, is how you drew the pro. I think she'd make a great pro.
I thought Cameron Diaz would be the perfect person.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
She's too sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah, and she can do that real filthy, horrible, like disgusted look. She should come out of retirement because it didn't. She retired.
Oh, she did?
Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, to start a family.
For a while,
Yeah.
so.
How obnoxious, right? That's so rude.
The nerve
So
of her.
selfish.
She made that movie
Unbelievable.
with the guy you like, the English guy who cries.
Oh,
Jude Law.
Jude Law.
The Holiday.
Oh, Holiday. When they swap.
Yeah.
That movie gets me every time.
Oh my God! I'm like,
Yes, I sob like a little girl.
oh, and I'm like,
Something About Mary is one of my. I like that movie.
yeah.
I like the Charlie's Angels movies with her.
Yeah.
yeah.
Not the new one. The new one was very disappointing.
My favorite Cameron Diaz movie is The Other Women or Other Woman.
Yeah, right. With the two other girls cheating on the husband and the two.
I laugh my ass off
Judd
every time
Apatow's
I
wife.
see that movie.
Apatow's wife.
How about In Her Shoes? Isn't that
That was
Cameron
good.
Diaz? That's
Oh, you like that movie, don't you?
based on a book.
She was great in The Mask.
Yes.
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 Yeah, definitely.
Power Girl campaign. I'm
Yeah,
in.
that was a defining moment for her, though.
She
you
was
know?
like
Yeah, I
20.
think wasn't it her first movie role as or
Yes. The
Yeah,
man.
Funny. Well, she was like 20 years old too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah. What about Any Given Sunday?
the cat from Bloom County. Bloom County. I used to read Bloom County all the time. I used to love Bloom County. I would totally do that. A Power Girl.
Trying to get Devo in the frame here, but it's
Here,
up
you
in the
can get up
computer.
on the. You
You
can,
should get our cat.
oh, little kitty.
Sophie.
Oh, little kitty.
I wish I had a cat now.
Oh,
I don't have a cat.
I don't have a cat.
She'd be like, "Wow, wow."
We have two. One of you can borrow one of ours.
If I call her,
You
Pass
can
on
knock
through.
the pen.
Just email me the cat and I'll take care of
That's
it.
why that's why you can't believe the Earth is flat because cats would have knocked all the shit off already. That's why we know the world is round because of
Truth.
but they scientifically found there is a parallel dimension. You know, you guys make fun of me of Planet X. Apparently, there is.
Whoa. Who makes fun of you about Planet X?
Dude, see them.
Like Planet X is like a real deal. Like
This is the first conversation we've ever had.
That planet that Matthew screams at me and yells
Yeah.
upset that's parallel to our
yeah, it goes.
Hey,
Planet X is real.
Yeah, it goes on it's supposed to be like an identical planet
See?
to ours, and it has a wide berth orbit.
See?
And they're like eventually we'll meet. Eventually we'll meet.
Don't do this. If you do this, I'm leaving.
No, just stay here.
I'm leaving. Let me just say goodbye now.
Don't leave.
Deb,
Hey,
get
Deb,
in the chair and lock that door.
Deb, I have a joke. Hey Deb, I have a joke for you.
Yes.
So there's these two muffins and they get put in the oven and one muffin turns to the other one and goes, man, it's hot in here. And the other muffin goes, holy shit, it's a talking muffin.
I heard that joke with bacon.
That's
I
for
heard
you,
2 pieces of bacon in a frying pan.
dude. Nice.
He's like, try to eat the pen.
He loves Sharpies.
He's like the greatest cat in the world.
He's actually talking. Watch. Oh, come on, stop chewing. Fluid. Come on, Devo.
He's like, I know what you're up to, Jimmy.
Wait, where did Billy even go?
I'm gonna go get Matthew so that the two of them
Have
can
a seat.
scream for all of you to watch.
All right, and then I'm
Okay.
and then I'm going to eat my hibachi.
All right.
Hey, Matthew. What's happening, buddy?
The end. So this is our son Matthew.
Says who?
Hello.
He's not my son.
No, not that.
Hey, how are you doing there,
Hey,
Matthew?
dude, that's not your kid, Billy.
Hey, man, this turned into a real horror
You're the
story.
UPS guy.
This is like the best.
What the fuck is going on?
This is the worst horror story I've ever seen. She's like,
So Matthew.
Who's the father?
Evans, Matthew does not believe in Planet X.
I don't know how that's even possible. I mean, like,
tell him about the rotation.
It's embarrassing.
yeah. So basically, basically there's a round orbit, but Planet X is on a different orbit that just meets our orbit,
It's impossible.
and it's not impossible.
Yes, it is. I'll tell you how. It's impossible.
All right, tell me, youngling.
And I need a pen and pencil. I mean, a paper and pencil.
Dude,
All right. Anyway, but they did find a parallel dimension.
Yeah, that's not a planet.
Yeah, but I'm saying
That's
there really
exactly
is a
what I
planet.
said.
There really is a planet.
What is that doll?
I'm pretty sure that
It's got something dripping from its mouth. What the hell's up with that?
Deb, check out her shoes.
I think that doll just stole my
I
soul.
want those shoes.
I know.
They're fabulous. If you ever find those shoes, you have to tell me.
Okay.
It's from Ashley Wood.
All right.
He can draw it and then show
So,
it.
so Billy, what you're saying is Planet X is exactly on our orbit, on Earth's orbit.
Yeah, it's something like this. Okay, so here's
That's not what Brian Blevins is saying.
Yes, he
of all.
is.
So look at what he just drew.
Hang on,
Billy.
hang on. Don't use that pen. Don't
Billy,
use
I'm
that
using
pen.
it already.
Are you drawing now too?
Is anyone still watching this show?
Yeah.
I mean, is
Absolutely.
anyone?
21 people are still here.
21. That's 20 more than I thought.
right. So here's our sun.
Not a
And
parallel.
here's our orbit. Well, Planet X has its own orbit around whatever,
Okay, well,
but it comes through here. It'll eventually end up meeting with us.
and that's when we war.
Yes.
Why would we?
Well, they're saying that the planets, the
Who's saying this? I don't even know what's going on here.
scientists.
What
Nile-
scientist?
Is it true? Is it true that the planets get so close that you
Yes.
can use a regular house ladder to get to the other planet?
No,
No.
that's not true.
Okay, so this is what my dad is saying. This is what
Okay.
he thinks is going on. He thinks that it's on the exact same orbit. So this is us
Right.
right here, and this is Planet X.
Yes.
It's not on the,
But Billy, wouldn't Voyager have picked that up?
yeah, it's not on the same orbit.
Well, I'm going to say this. So, Billy, there's a movie from the 60s called The Far Side of the Sun,
Okay.
and it's about that. And the idea that mirrors are not mirrors, they're actual doorways to the other Earth on the other side of the sun. So what you're seeing is the exact copy Earth. You're not seeing yourself in the mirror. You're seeing the copy Earth is looking back at you. And that was a movie in the 60s. It had to say that was that idea.
They redid that story not too long ago. I want to say like maybe 5 years ago, where they had the other planet and they were going to be, and basically whenever they got the ability to talk to each other, they found out that it was like exactly parallel. There were people, like basically another dimension of us on this planet, and it was almost exactly. And as they started to get together, we started thinking that they were going to go to war against us, that their planet was
Take that.
dying, and like all this,
That's my good.
basically all this paranoia came into play, and they both sent ships of people,
Take
like rockets of people, over to the other planet. And in one of the, the very end of the movie, spoiler alert, everybody, like the two scientists that found, like they came and met each other, and then that's how the movie ends. Like the same people that found out that there was a parallel planet, but it was so crazy
Well-
because you could see the moon, and then like the giant Earth came between like the moon, and
I mean, it is almost a
Pretty great.
remake of that, because in the Far Side of the Sun movie, the guy's so convinced at the end he's in a wheelchair, and he wheelchairs himself into the mirror, and that's how it ends.
that's pretty awesome. Though.
Yeah, I think I'll probably just break the mirror with my face if I try to go through it.
Yeah.
All right, man.
That's what I would do.
What he said-
But yeah,
Well, I know what I'll be researching tonight. My wife will be like, "Why are you still up?" I'm like, "Because you don't understand. There's another planet, and it's coming, and I gotta get my little giant ladder fully extended."
I
Can we
made
go full screen on Billy and his family yelling? Can we have that? There you go.
gray hairs. But no, I changed my idea now. This is what he thought was the thing. And I showed him how it was
I
impossible.
love how frustrated he is.
It's so annoying.
So
because
not,
he doesn't understand how
I
important
warned you all, didn't I?
So this is us. This is planet. Wait, this is planet X. Shut up. This is planet X. Due to the gravitational force of the sun, since we are closer to it during winter, therefore the seasons are shorter, meaning we would get slingshotted across right here, while planet X is still moving slowly. So we would have a clear sight of them. While if
you're definitely incorrect about that silence, little Tucci.
Yeah,
You're wrong.
I think that
I'm wrong.
what
All
I
right, I'm wrong then.
what I think is that once this planet is slingshotting around the sun, this planet had already slingshotted around the sun earlier, so that's why by the time we get to here, it's all the way going to be over here because it's following the same rotation.
You know what? I believe Matthew, actually. I believe Matthew's correct.
I
Yeah.
think the Cylons saw this argument and were like, "That's why humans have to go.
Yeah, they got to go.
They got to
They
go.
got to go.
They got to go."
They've got.
I like the text there. Wonder what daily life is like.
Exactly like that all day long, which is why I need a quiet room.
And that's why that picture on your phone, Amanda, it's like that every day of me and Debbie.
Yeah. That awesome.
Well,
thing.
Lee does have a physics degree.
Lee is actually right. It does get hotter in the summer because our hemisphere is pointing more towards
Correct.
the sun at that
It's based on the tilt.
Yeah,
Right.
Lee, you're correct, but
Yeah.
you also have to take into consideration that the father thoroughly frustrated the son, and if you were here for the first time that he proved his father why it couldn't happen, he took all that into consideration as well. He was much more eloquent the first time, but now Billy's just getting under his skin on purpose, and he's going to have him speaking Ethiopian soon too.
Are we still talking about this? It's still about Earth?
Not anymore. I'm done.
Okay.
All right. We got our Facebook people are asking questions. The Vogons, Robert Selb. Anyway,
It could be Vogons.
Vogons, yeah.
Yeah,
Vogons, definitely.
It's the Earth lizards, right? It's the Earth people and the lizard people in the Earth. I think it's that.
Vogon is.
I mean, it's not Vogons. You know what I'm saying? It's not Vogons. Like,
Can't rule them out.
Yeah.
Can't rule out the Vogons. This isn't. It's become the science podcast, which is the worst science.
right.
This is like,
Yeah, don't ask us.
Speculative science.
I'll just be listening to the White House right now.
Here,
It's all over the place.
Well, that's another thing. That's
Remember,
why-
inject yourself with Clorox.
because
Yeah.
no
I'll
one the president is. He was told secrets that presidents have been receiving for the past 100 years, and then he's like, "Well, Area 51." He's like, "So it's true about Area 51 and the alien crash in 1947?" Like, yeah. And he said, "Will they come back again?" He said, "Well, most likely." And he said, "I'm creating the Space Force," because he just does things like that on a whim.
We know.
That's why Space Force. He's protecting us.
What do you think about
Sure.
Yeah, what do you think about what's his name saying that we need to stop searching for intelligent life before he died?
Who said that?
God, I can't.
Carl
Right.
Sagan,
No.
When God says it, then you're in trouble.
Neil deGrasse
I mean,
Tyson.
like if you would ask me, I would be able to say no. He's like one of the greatest scientists ever in a wheelchair.
Oh,
Why isn't Neil
Just lose-
deGrasse?
I am a scientist. That guy.
Yeah, I can't even remember his name right now.
Robert Crumb? No.
No,
He's still
the
alive,
guy,
Robert Crumb.
no, the guy that was in the wheelchair is completely immobile.
What's his
Yeah,
name?
Theory of Everything.
Talks with the
He
with
talks to. He's like
Oh, you
Yeah,
know,
why is my mind not working? Huh?
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen
Yeah,
Hawking.
Stephen Hawking. Jesus. I don't know why I'm
such an a-hole. I'm like, he talks like this.
Yeah, just brain lost his name. But yeah, like, he's like, he did all this stuff, and then all of a sudden he's just like, hey guys, look, we need to stop trying to reach out to extraterrestrials and aliens. Like, we just need to stop. And then not too long after that, he died.
Wow.
They
Like,
killed
one of
him.
the last things he said.
The aliens killed him.
I don't know. I think it's a pure coincidental.
Why,
deal. I mean, he was-
why
he was
would we
very
create the Space Force?
Space.
to protect our satellites.
Aliens are going to
Yeah.
come looking for their
From
dead
whom?
bodies in-
Can we do a comic called Space Force? Because Billy, we have a character worked out for that.
We do.
Yeah,
Isn't
man.
there already a comic book for Space
Yeah,
Force?
Tim
Tim
had
Lim.
Trump Space Force, though.
Yeah, Tim Lim did Trump's Space Force.
Well, we can just do Space Force, can't we?
Space
I like
Force.
your title
How
better.
about Space Horse?
Oh, that was on Netflix.
Nice. How about
was that on Showtime After Dark?
Space Horse.
how about
Space, oh, I thought you said Space Whores. I was like, oh,
Space Horse.
like it's after hours. Hey,
Punisher?
Space
Oh,
Whores.
heavens.
Do, 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 do.
All
Okay.
right. Well, I think this is.
All right.
You guys have been on for almost 2.5 hours.
Yeah, we learned too much today.
I know.
You guys are the best.
But thank you guys so much, Amanda. We hope you'll come on next week. We can talk about your career. I
That's
promise it won't be 2 hours long,
It'll be 2 hours.
and it's not going to be 2 hours.
I'm not going to be on. It's going to be all
Yeah.
you.
It's all me?
Yep.
Okay.
For you.
3 hours.
And I think Walter and Wheezy Simonson are coming on next Wednesday. Tomorrow night we have Humberto Rainbows and Brian Polito, right? Niall?
We do this
Yeah,
every
Brian
day.
Pluto and Humberto Ramos.
Twice.
Oh, Humberto.
Hey.
And then we have Roland Mann, right? Is that Roland?
I love Roland. I know Roland for a billion years.
Oh, really? Is he coming on?
Yeah, he's a
Roland?
nice guy. Roland Mann will be on.
I know him for a
Tuesday.
billion years. The Earth was
He's gonna-
flat.
Roland and what's oh my gosh.
That's why he's rolling around. Oh, yeah.
Ben?
Oh,
I'm so tired right now.
We're tired.
I know. Did you drink that whole bottle of wine, Amanda?
Oh, yeah.
No, I just had the one glass. If I had the bottle of wine, I'd be
And
snoozing.
Barb Kailberg, she was an inker.
Right.
She
Right?
drinks a bottle of wine every hour.
Barb Kailberg.
Who?
Barb.
Barb Kalberg.
Oh, Barb.
Calvert.
Amanda knows Barb.
Yeah.
You know Barb too.
She'll be on with Roland at 10
Oh,
on
great.
Tuesday.
Great. All right,
Yeah.
guys. Well, you guys are fantastic. Jimmy, again, great luck, great success with Op Kill. That was awesome. You know they're going to
Thank
keep
you.
growing everyone.
Nice to see all your lovely faces.
I'm going to point so it makes sense. Let's see. Okay, Billy, thank you. You, oh, it doesn't work. You got to stay. Wait. No, that way. Oh, this backwards thing. It must be this. It's not the TV.
That way.
It's not us we're seeing. We're
Oh,
seeing
this
the
way.
planet us.
Yeah.
Everything's the opposite.
There you go.
E.T. Amanda.
Are your fingers touching?
Witness protection. I know witness protection when
Oh,
I
I'm
see
doing
it
wrong. There we
next
go.
to me.
Oh, dude, you think you're joking about witness protection?
Nope,
brother.
I know it. I can
There's-
tell. You
That-
have
that's for another. That's for another time.
That's a
There's
whole.
a
definitely,
green screen right
there's
now.
definitely a story there for right now. That's a fact.
Remember, somebody will find you eventually.
All right,
Yeah,
guys.
then a shout out, just a quick shout out, Joe Ryan. Thanks
Yeah.
for checking
Joe,
in.
thank you,
TJ
Joe.
James, Lee
Death
Ditworth,
Metal Hero,
Andy,
you're awesome, buddy.
Coke the Guy, Death Metal Hero, Robert,
Lee. Hello, Lee.
Hero Ember,
TJ
Yes.
James.
TJ James, Frank
Oh,
Amazing as Pop XP.
Thank
Frank
you, and Hero Heroinberg. Thanks for putting our website up.
Yes, thank you.
By the way, on the website, we put 50 pages up yesterday, day before yesterday, of new original comic art for sale.
Anything from the Valiant time period?
Yeah, we just sold
No
a
problem.
Solar cover, a big Solar cover, wraparound.
You're joking.
I'm not joking. I didn't know you were a big fan of Valiant.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of yours.
Look at his
I have
face.
some- I have
And,
some,
and Valiant. Like, I love that. Yeah.
I have some. I have a Solar page for you if you want.
Dude, done.
It's free of
Done.
charge, though. I can't charge you for it.
Oh, well, dude, that's amazing.
But I'm going to draw penises on all the characters. Just I'm giving you a heads up.
Thanks.
That's his favorite thing.
Have penises.
Yeah.
Solar
He loves
strong
penises.
being
I'm not hearing any downside yet.
Extra veins.
Well, this is wonderful. Also, She Returned the Warrior. We're in our last weeks, right?
I hope so.
Yeah, coming down.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, really? One more week, right?
No, we have a few more weeks. No, we're going to keep going until we start really fulfilling everything. But it's doing great. Thank you so
Who's
much.
putting the packages together, Deb?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Who's doing the packages? You.
Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah, Mike helps.
My kids, their friends.
Yeah, the Falcone brothers are coming over. We get the kids, we hire them.
Anybody who will sit and talk to me, I just give them stuff to package. That's how it works.
Your mother.
That's awesome.
Your mother would come and help.
My mother's got enough of her own work. She doesn't need mine.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't want to come here and watch her daughter cry.
Cutting onions.
Cutting onions.
Yeah, onion cutters. So, and let's all do an onion, the cutting onion show. We'll all cut onions.
Yeah.
Get that Frank Amazing. Get that booked. Get that booked.
Yeah.
Frank Amazing.
That could be the show with
The onion show.
All right, we're gonna go and eat dinner now.
You
So,
get
same here. I'm going to have hibachi.
See you guys later.
all right.
I'm gonna
Love you guys.
Have a great night. Thank you, everyone.
You guys are incredible.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
Facebook. Everybody on Facebook.
Good
Yeah,
night.
thanks everyone for watching. We'll
Thanks-
see you guys
Thanks
later.
for watching.
All right, bye.
Bye, Deb.
Bye.
Good night,
Bye,
boys.
Deb.